Tumbler to me was the consummate fall beer. This beer to me tasted like jumping into a pile of leaves.
That's a good way to describe it.
When a beer can taste like an action.
Sierra did amazing things with this beer, and then they
When a beer becomes a verb.
Right. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, September the 19th, 2023. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Privateer. Say hello, Mr. Beer Privateer.
Arr.
Arr.
Arr. We got to say arr, mateys.
Arr. Arr. So, Samurai, why are you a privateer tonight?
How do you say R in a German accent?
R.
R.
Arr.
Meeting bratwurst because, I'm dressed like a privateer because it's our Oktoberfest show.
You're dressed like a privateer because it's our Oktoberfest show. That's not why you're dressed. That's not why you're dressed like a privateer.
Oh, it's September 19th. September 19th every year. Excuse me, my swallows. International.
Excuse him while he swallows.
It's International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Happy International Talk Like a Pirate Day for those of you that celebrate it.
And we're not talking Roberto Clemente or Willie Stargell.
No. Not even Andrew McCutcheon.
Or Kent Tekulve.
No, Kent Tekulve's
that's legend.
Legendary. Anyway, so it is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. That's why Mr. Beer Samurai is Mr. Beer Privateer today. But I got to tell you, I am jealous of I'm jealous of that brat you're eating there. I didn't have time to get a brat together. God, I would have loved it, but I'm eating a pretzel though. So
you shouldn't be too jealous because it's not done the way you like them. I know the way you cook them. Mm-hmm. It is kind of done the traditional way, where it's like I boil them real quick, but then dump the water out and pan sear the things. Mm-hmm. Put it on some rye bread with some mustard.
There you go.
That's the way. That's an old traditional way of doing them.
It's not a traditional way of doing them. It's not exactly the way I do them. But hey, look, I love brats. I'll eat them anyway. As long as they're good brats, I'm good to go. But
they're pretty good brats.
I do want to tell you this. The other day, speaking of cooking, I grilled a chicken for like 2 hours.
Yeah, did he talk?
And he didn't tell me at all why he crossed the road. Would not tell me.
Yeah,
would not tell
me. Doesn't matter, man. They hold in their secrets.
They are definitely
that's an age-old question.
Yeah, exactly. Did I tell you this one? Past, the present, and the future walked into a bar. It was a very tense situation. Mm-hmm. So,
gotcha.
All right, sorry. I'll stop now.
Please, bring on the guest.
Would you like me to bring on the guest? Is that what you'd like me to do?
Please bring on the guest. So I've got beer sitting right here.
Okay.
I want to start drinking.
I have beer sitting right there too. So
this one might take me a little while.
Well, it is our Oktoberfest show. So let's bring on the guest. Let's get going with the guest. And we have a lot of other stuff other than just Oktoberfest to talk about today. So with no further ado.
Oh yeah. It's like what?
A lot of beer news, actually.
Oh, that's
in New Jersey, and it kind of affects other breweries around the country. This beer news in New Jersey, and some other stuff too. So, without further ado, please welcome to the show, Mr. Albert Gattullo. Al, welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Al.
How you doing?
How are you?
Hey,
ahoy, mateys.
Ahoy, mateys. Arr.
I like the show.
Al.
You're going to talk about next weekend's event.
It's this weekend. It's actually this weekend.
This coming weekend. Yes. Ups for Hopes,
yes.
Right?
That's correct. Lost Tavern Brewing, Hellertown. It's this Saturday. Tickets are actually still available. They cut the fest down. Yeah, they cut the fest down from 3 hours to 2 hours, and they sort of said if you buy for one session, you can't buy for the other session. I think people got a little carried away last year, so they're sort of limiting it, which I actually like. 2 hours, you're in, you're out. But
good.
It's a lot of great breweries, a lot of Jersey breweries. Everybody is donating their beer, and 100% of the proceeds goes directly to pediatric cancer. I think they've raised somewhere in the vicinity of around $40 $50,000 over the last 3 years. So
it looks like
it's a great event. What's that?
It looks like they're sold out now.
Oh, are they? You shouldn't be. Somebody had just posted that they still had tickets, so I would definitely check it out.
Let me see. I'm on the website now, and I just can't find. There it is. Hops for Hope. I went through one.
There should
link.
still be tickets.
Press release. Let's see.
There you go.
How do you? I don't know how to do it from the website.
You don't know how to work a computer? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not at all.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Purchase tickets, and the no, you can't click on it.
Well, that's weird.
And another website I went to, nothing.
Interesting.
It said tickets are not available for.
Well, there was a link through Lost Tavern, right? Is that what you went through?
Let me try that then. Okay. We'll move on.
Yeah, here. You know what?
I want to go through this.
All right, so hold on. I actually gonna send you the link right now because I'm just on there and it allowed me to click through. So I just sent it to your Facebook Messenger. You should have got it right now.
Alrighty. Well, let's drink something while I'm doing.
Yeah, you check that out. Dave, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking out of this.
And where did you get that?
I got this in Ocean Grove Flea Market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got it there, and this is my first time using it. Mm-hmm. And I am drinking. You think I'd drink a Jersey beer out of it since I bought it in Jersey, but there's I want to do something with a low alcohol, so I went with Wall and Paul Pack's Fest beer, and it's the glare is just not really helping on this.
Get closer to the camera. There you go.
I'm trying, and it's still
there. You go.
There it is.
There you go.
Great little brewery.
Oh yeah, no, a lot of fun. Good food.
Yes, very good food.
Good food. They do lagers and pilsners pretty damn well. I got to give them that. There's a couple of decent breweries out there. What was the something Eagle?
I was there. I was not impressed.
Yeah, they're okay, but then there's but you go a little further out. You got to go out into the farmland, and you get
Honesdale, next town over.
Yep. Yeah, what
I know the area well. My grandparents had a house in Hawley for years, so I'm familiar with the area.
That's something district.
Second
district. Second district. No, the name of the brewery.
Of that, I don't remember.
There's one called something. John, you've been there.
Yeah.
Second district.
It's second district. Yeah.
Second district.
Yeah.
There, beautiful. If you've ever been to Westtown Brewing, it's very similar to Westtown Brewing as far as the view's concerned. And the beer's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So, cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Al, what do you think?
Prost, you mean?
Prost, that's right. I didn't have any Marzens in the fridge except for this one from Founders. This is from actually 2 years ago. This is an Ultimate Oktoberfest. It is an impure. See, this is what happens when you get old. You have to put on the reading glasses because you can't see.
You mean these?
Yeah. Imperial German style Marzen aged in bourbon barrels. It is a 10% Marzen. This was bottled on July 25th of 2022.
So it's a year old.
So it is a part of their So they sent me, not with this one, but with something else. They sent me this glass, and on the back of it, let me take a sip here, so I don't spill it. It is a part of their barrel aged series, so you can. Nice. It keeps it nice and chilled. So
very nice.
There you go.
Very nice. I would like to point out. I think I speak for Dave when I go like this. When you say sucks to get old, because you're the youngest of the three of us in the show.
Yeah. By the way.
Okay. There you go.
Anyway.
Okay. So it did.
Okay. Or either that, or we concur. We could do that too.
There you go.
There you go.
That'll work.
Anyway,
which session are you going to, Al?
I'm going to the first one.
They're available. I just looked at the link on. I went to Lost Tavern's website, and the link on there.
So everything's available. But let me tell you, if you're going to buy 2 tickets, you have to buy each one individually because they want to make sure they get the T-shirt size right. Because you get a T-shirt with the and a tasting glass with the purchase.
Right.
So you have to do it one at a time. But I'm telling you, man, it's worth it. First off, District 96 and Tin Barn are both there, and It is in the District 96 guys are insane. They last year they brought a beer bong that was an octopus.
Really?
Poured beer in, and everybody was and they got a guy walking around with a flamingo, and they're just pouring beer shots.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's great.
Well, there's one brewery showing up that I absolutely love, Vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the list, out of Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Right.
They do some great stuff.
You spent some time there.
Yeah.
Actually, I was never actually in the building. It's
that's because they were closed. That's right, the pandemic. So you just went by to pick up beer. That's right.
Yep. It was just like Fox Farm. Just go by, pick up beer, and go home and drink the beer.
See that?
Yeah. And to pay homage to your time in Rhode Island, I'm wearing this hat tonight. So.
There we go, Tilted Barn. Now there's a really good brewery.
Yes, it is.
I
bought this at the original space too, not the new space. The original actual Tilted Barn.
Yes, the one where people would go up into those up onto that second level. I'll be like, you're out of your mind. I'm not going up there.
I went up there.
Yeah, because you're out of your mind.
I'm out of my mind. Right, exactly.
The new space is absolutely beautiful, though, and I really do miss being able to walk down the street to my closest liquor store and pick up 4-packs of Tilted.
Tilted Barn. Yeah.
Or just drive 10 minutes to the brewery.
We're gonna have to make a trip up to Rhode Island.
We do need.
Yeah, even if it's just a short long weekend. Go see a couple of people. Not a long weekend, a short long weekend.
You mean like 3 days rather?
3 days instead of 4. Not 2, but not 4. 3. Right. So.
This is like the holy hand grenade all over again.
Exactly. Anyway, just to throw it up there, my first beer I'll be drinking a Brooklyn brewery Oktoberfest.
There you go.
Märzenlager.
You're staying the closest to home.
I stayed the closest to home with that. I got one even a little closer than that for my second beer, and I think your second beer might be a little closer too. So
maybe if I go with that second one, that one's really. It's funny. We'll talk about that brewery when I open it. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about tonight.
We do.
We do.
Spam, right?
Spam, right? We're talking about spam. We have spam Parmesan.
Oh.
There you go.
You got the spam.
I have a can somewhere in the cabinet.
You got a big glary light right next to you.
I know.
You're like, what did you do on the night of October 9th?
I was grilling chicken.
You were grilling chicken, right?
Actually, the way they make spam in Hawaii with the rice, the egg, and the seaweed wrap.
We talked about this with Dave and Aaron a couple weeks ago, right?
So good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they make that up there, up by Buttsville.
Yes,
so
they do. They
got to get up there.
The onigiri, the spam onigiri.
Did I tell you? There's this new pub that opened up. It's a 5-minute walk from here.
Yeah.
However, it's a 30-minute walk home.
The difference is staggering.
Right? Exactly. All right.
We're going to buy you some new material for Christmas.
I know, but you know what, though? You know what? That's the point of these. They're supposed to be stupid where everybody knows them and can recite the line together. Anyway.
Right.
All right. All right. So, let me ask you this really quick. And
it's good grog. It's good grog.
Grog. There you go. The three of us will answer. What was the first Oktoberfest beer you can remember ever having or remember ever liking or anything like that? You know?
Wow. Probably a Sam Adams would probably be my guess.
Yeah, over
either
John's
Sam or
left
Brooklyn.
shoulder. Over John's left shoulder, that Stein back there. Mm-hmm. That's. I can guarantee you that was my first Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
I was going to drink out of this tonight, but
you didn't have any Sam Adams.
But you know what? I don't have any Sam Adams, and the beer I just poured in here that filled this glass would go up to here. So.
You got
it all over.
You got a little more volume in that than I do in this. Not much, but this one takes 32 ounces.
So, 32. Yeah, well, that's good. This one is. Looks
like a 40.
This is a 40. Yeah, this is a 40.
I picked up a Stein from Germany in a flea market last year in Jersey here that I have sitting in my basement. I should have just brought that one up. I was going to bring up the Tits glass, but that doesn't really fit with Oktoberfest. But sure, it does.
Well, yes, it does. Well, first of all,
if you put a beer made.
Yeah, because
koozie. Well, that's what you need. You need a cozy, a beer made cozy that you can put over the glass.
A boob koozie, right?
Yeah. A boob koozie.
Boobs go with everything, Al. You know that, of course.
Well, that's true. That's
and if you think about the beer maids in Munich in the beer halls, are you looking at the beers when they're walking by?
No,
right.
No. It depends.
Well, maybe for a second.
If they're carrying like 20 of them, it's like
that's
oh my god,
yeah,
you are. which is impressive.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, all right.
I'd carry one and spill it. So, I mean, it's
Exactly. And I have.
I've seen Al spill an unopened can of beer.
That's true.
That takes talent to do that.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Very
it does.
much.
But,
Very much so.
you know.
I have to agree. It's probably, honestly, Sam Adams or Brooklyn. Probably Sam Adams, though, was probably my first, Dave. Yeah.
I said the same thing. It was exactly, I guarantee you that was my first Oktoberfest.
Yeah, had to be. Right.
Yeah, we don't need the professor and the DeLorean to go back and check on that.
No, not so much.
No.
That's pretty much a given.
But they're a really good beer, and I think Oktoberfest beers and Marzens are sort of underrated, and people knock them because the pumpkin stuff starts coming out, and then you got Marzens, and people are like, well, it's still summer, it's still warm, but that's a good way to sort of shift from whatever it is that you're drinking during the summer, easing into something fall-like, and that's a perfect approachable beer to do that. So
Absolutely.
I think that it sometimes gets a knock for not being such a popular beer, but you could drink, I mean, not this particular one because it's a high ABV, but most of them hover in at around 5-6%. Yep. You can have a few without being overwhelmed.
What was the ABV on that Sierra?
That one, this one, the Founders, 10%.
Yeah. Or Founders, rather.
Yeah.
That was a Founders, that's right.
And I'm drinking, and this is a 5.5, which is actually quite a that's right. High for a fest beer.
But it's also the Founders. That's one of the breweries we're going to talk about with one of the stories that's
exactly
going on.
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
So there you go.
This is Al's way of going, I've got to get up at 4 a.m, move the show along.
No. 4. I get up at 4. I'm late.
I was going to say,
car
he's getting up. He's leaving by then. He's not getting up then.
Right.
Yeah, but your commute a little closer since you're doing Staten Island all week?
No. We just did Staten Island today. We're doing
today.
the whole month. The whole month is celebrating Staten Island, but today we did our spot. The place literally, as soon as you come off the Goethals Bridge, it's the first exit. You just do a wrap-around. It's right there. I mean, I couldn't have asked for
10 minutes to get there?
Yeah, about 15.
Right.
15. So it was great.
Celebrating Staten Island.
Exactly.
Well, someone's got to do it.
That's it.
Hey,
listen, it's the borough I'm born and raised in.
I know you were born and raised in there.
Things.
Did Brian call in to the show? I mean, he's
no, he did
not.
Boy. No, he didn't.
What about James? James,
well, James the Bayonne boy.
He's Bayonne.
I mean, he's like
that's right.
Bayonne. He's like pseudo.
He has a bridge.
He's got Staten Island envy from Bayonne.
He's got a bridge. He still hasn't been to Killsborough yet, and it's literally probably 10
right
minutes
there.
from him.
Right there.
Yeah, right.
Spent a lot of time in my younger days. I dated a girl in Bayonne, hung out with a bunch of people from Bayonne. Always went over the bridge, hung out in Willowbrook Park.
Yep.
So
there you go.
It's always good. So
there you go.
But
I think I've only been there twice intentionally.
Twice intentionally.
Interesting.
Hey, I go to Staten Island every time I go to Brooklyn.
You just drive through it. From where you are. I went there once.
Twice I go to Staten Island every time I go to Brooklyn. So, anyway, what's your favorite Oktoberfest food?
Ooh. For me, it's got to be a beer pretzel. Beer pretzel and mustard hits the spot. I mean, that's the thing. I like bratwurst. I like that. My wife is a big German food fan. She loves all that stuff. But for me, it's the beer pretzel not with the cheese. I like the mustard. Give me a grainy, little bit of heat on that mustard. That's what I like.
I love beer cheese.
Little horseradish.
But I like beer cheese soup better than beer cheese dip.
Okay.
So I can eat beer cheese soup all day long, right? But with pretzels, whether they're just hard pretzels like this that I'm eating or soft pretzels, variant pretzels, give me mustard.
And my biggest thing with the pretzel, I'd rather they come instead of having them like glistening in butter, like just do the pretzel. Yeah. The mustard is the sauce that you're supposed to be eating the pretzel with. If you do it right, it should have a little bit of a crunch, soft in the middle, and dip that in that mustard. You're good to go. You don't need to have 7 pounds of butter on it.
Worst thing in the world is to take break off a piece of pretzel with so much butter on it, go to dip in the mustard, and the mustard slides off.
Right off.
Yeah, or it slips right out of your hand.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
You need a little crack in the crust here and there. Too much salt's going to destroy it.
Yeah.
But if you put too much salt, you can always knock it off. Too little salt, you can't do anything about that. And I agree with you. I think, back in the day, we were all guilty of loving Auntie Anne's and Wetzel's pretzels, but it got to the point, it's like, stop now. You're killing us all.
Well, it's two different things, right? I mean, I'll go there and have like if I want dessert and I'm walking through the mall, the one time every 2 years I go to the mall.
I'd rather Cinnabon.
Well, that too, but
if I'm going to clog my arteries and do dessert, I'm getting Cinnabon.
Yeah, do it with a Cinnabon.
I suppose, yeah, that's probably a better bet. I just, it's not out of the question, is all. No, obviously I'm Mr. Brat, so I'm like big on brats. Sour Braten's a good one for me too. I love my sour Braten. But
I have my two favorite. I love my Wiener Schnitzel. If you get a good Wiener Schnitzel and you get some of the lingonberry jam with it, preserves with it, and that is a beautiful thing. Fest Hall in Asbury does it that way.
Yes,
right, and they do it with the cabbage and the potato salad, and I think Thursdays I think is Wiener Schnitzel day there, so it's like half price Wiener Schnitzel. So get there on Thursdays. But my favorite is the pig knuckle. They bring that pig knuckle out, and they bring it out with a couple different mustards. They've got the creamy mustard, they've got the stone ground mustard, and you cut that thing off. And that is, if they've got that thing cooked right so that the outside of it is good and crisp and the inside's tender, you can't beat the pig knuckle.
This is true.
Never had it. I'm gonna have to try that.
I'm gonna have to try that too. I've had pig's knuckles before, but certainly not like a German.
Every now
German
and then,
style,
Fest Hall will have it every now and then as a special.
Never seen them there.
You know what the last time I had it was, John?
What?
Schneider Weiss.
Hey, Al, remember what I did to you before?
You know what I washed it down with, right, John?
Yeah, tap 6, you prick.
Yeah.
All right.
Wash that down with an Aventinus. It was a beautiful thing, man.
Anyway, all right.
It was a good day.
It was a good day.
That was, and the best part is, it was only on a layover. I said, we got to go now to get the train back to the airport. We get to the airport. We get through customs, back into the airport, get to our gate. 10 minutes. We have time to hit the bathroom, and then they start boarding. So
Perfect time.
You can't time it any
Wow.
better.
Couldn't time it any better than
Beat that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's great. All right. There's a few other things about Oktoberfest we'll get to because, I mean, the global, idea of the show, obviously, is Oktoberfest theme, so forth and so on. But there's a lot of news that we need to cover. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff going on in-state and then some other stuff going on in-state that's going to affect out-of-state. So let's talk about the in-state stuff first, though. Lunacy is closed.
Yeah.
Right.
Lunacy Brewing is closed.
To the dismay of all the lunatics.
There you go.
And that's not a joke. The fans, the people that bought into the brewery, they call them lunatics. Right? They had like a loyalty buy-in at the beginning or some sort of club.
Right.
I don't know the legality of it. And they call them lunatics.
Well, yeah, I mean it's like a merch thing and whatever. I mean now obviously the discount discount can't apply.
Right. But, it was like a mug club, right?
It's like a mug club, yeah.
Right. It's funny. I had a couple of their beers at a couple of the Atlantic City Beer Fest because they really didn't get out of South Jersey and come up north. And really a super nice bunch of guys. I remember it was 2017, I think I ran into them. And I think, it was 2017. And I had just beaten cancer. And the guy came over and we were talking and whatever. And somehow I mentioned the cancer. And one of my friends was mentioning that I had just beaten cancer. And the guy was like, oh my God, a big hug and whatever, and this and that. I think I was doing the show for a year. And we sort of hit it off. We sort of hit it off there. And I would see them every year in Atlantic City and sort of, it was this little camaraderie thing. And I showed them my tattoo when I got it at the end of 2017 and they were all excited and whatever. I mean, just a nice bunch of guys. They're blaming the governor for their shutdown. And I think there's some validity to that. But it's also, how are you managing your funds, right? I mean, you're looking to expand and you're looking to do things, but do you have the cash on hand to do it? Can you go to a bank and get a loan? And with the uncertainty in the next couple of months here, I think they just got into a cash flow problem where, look, we can't sustain this. And, the way the owner was talking, he'll never do business in Jersey again, which is a shame. I mean, that's the trickle-down effect that I think the governor doesn't seem to realize. You've got guys who may be looking to get out of the beer business and do something else and don't want to do it here because it's so cost prohibitive, whether it's beer or food or whatever. It's just not good. It's not good business.
Well, I don't know if we have more to say about lunacy, but if we're done with lunacy, that's a good segue into the question that Al had for the governor.
Well, I do want to ask him that, but as far as Lunacy goes,
let's finish with Lunacy.
They opened in 2014, so they had a 9-year run.
I think it was there in 2015, and it was a cool place to hang out, man. It was like,
yeah, I mean,
it was like hanging out in some dude's backyard, if the backyard was a parking lot.
Well, they were in the original location. They moved. I think they moved in 2017. I think they moved.
That's when they moved
to the new location.
So I remember because I was there in 2015.
If I recall correctly, it was a smaller place when they opened, and then they expanded to a bigger facility.
Yep.
But again, when you're going to upscale like that, and you're expanding to make more beer, you've got to get your beer out there.
Right.
If you're talking, I'm just going to cover Southern Jersey, that limits you to the amount of places that you can cover. I mean, you can use Cape May as the example, where they started and were primarily down there, and then really eventually moved their way up. But for somebody like Lunacy, you have to be making one or two good enough beers that translates going up north. That people say, I got to have this. I had this down here. I want it up here at my bar.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Cool place to hang. Nice guys, but there was really, I don't know that there was a beer that would have traveled well like that you would pick off the shelf other than somebody else's.
A buzz. You need a buzz. That's what it is.
You do. It's something that they made for the expansion that they did. You hit the nail on the head, Al. They would have had to expand it in North Jersey, and just to expand their footprint more in South Jersey. You expand it in North Jersey, you're going to get people from North Jersey to come down to the brewery. So
there's that possibility.
To get your beer, even if it's just a minimal amount of it, if you get it up into the key locations, up into the other half of the state. People that do travel, weekend travelers for, let's go hit up a bunch of breweries. And they had a bunch of breweries around them too. It's not like they were like, they weren't off in Neverland. They weren't in the desert. They had a lot. They had a good amount of breweries around them. So they could definitely put on, a weekend list kind of thing. They would have built up by expanding into North Jersey. They would have built up their taproom business too, which in turn would have built up their South Jersey business.
I got to disagree with you a little bit, John. I've always experienced it the other way around, where someone comes up into an area and they've got their cans out. Calm down, Al. Not that way. The cans are on the shelf. It's got a better way to phrase this.
I'm waiting for this.
Keep going.
But are you, not knowing the beer, not knowing the brewery, you're going to pick it up? I'm more likely to visit a brewery just because they're in my state. I haven't been there yet. And if they're good, then I'll buy the cans off the shelf.
It works both ways. You're right, but it works both ways.
I think it works that way more often than the other way. Where
it's kind of it can,
because let's face it, because you're investing in a 4-pack, and let's face it, craft beer 4-packs, the prices have gotten up there. So you're going to invest in this one beer that you're not sure about, when you can actually travel to the brewery and all the breweries around it. People getting their tasters or just getting one beer there, and then figuring out if you like it or not.
Well, here's what I meant. Okay, not so much off premise, on premise. You get some key beers in some key locations in the other part of the state. Well, this applies everywhere. This isn't just Jersey. Now,
if you're talking Cooperage, if you're talking about kegs,
I'm talking about
bar.
Kegs.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
no. So you get your beer into bars, all right, and you have. You have a couple
takeover or whatever,
right? Yeah, maybe you have a takeover, maybe whatever. But you have a couple of flagships, or a couple of often. I mean, flagships are kind of falling away. Every brewery has a couple of flagships, but anyone that has a number of them, there's good and bad to both of that. But in any event, you have it on tap. So now the beer drinker goes into the local craft beer bar that's near their house or whatever. Obviously, look, we're all guilty of it, and anybody listening to this podcast most likely is guilty of it too. You're going to walk in, you're going to say, okay, there's 16 taps there. I've had 12 of them. Those 4 I haven't had. One of them's Lunacy. I'm going to have that, right? Now, you like that beer, and you get to another bar, and they have one of the other beers on, and you have that beer. Now you've had 2 Lunacys. Hey, these are pretty good. Hey, I'm thinking about taking a trip. Let's go down to South Jersey.
That I can see, but
I'm not talking about going in sight unseen, never had the beer before, buying a 4-pack in a store. No, that doesn't work.
That was my bad. That's what I thought.
You need some support. You need some off-premise support. But the idea to get people down to your brewery is the on-prem, is the
right. You need some support for your cans.
But I also think the pandemic.
I'll miss that one.
No, I know, I got it.
Oh, you got
it.
I got my cross your heart, whatever it is, bro, whatever. But I think the pandemic. Yeah, I know. I think the pandemic affected a lot of ways that breweries did business. Right. I mean, they had to shift from a taproom model to a to-go model. And some of them did that. And I'm just talking about Jersey specifically, not the rest of the country. But I think the rest of
the country did the same thing.
No, I know that. But I mean, since we're talking about lunacy,
right.
There are some breweries in Jersey who knew exactly what they needed to do and pivoted quickly to get it done. Whereas there were others who sort of, well, we're going to wait. We're going to hold on. We're not sure. We're waiting for our mobile canner. We didn't get in when everybody else was getting in. And now we're sitting, on a line that we're, 3 weeks deep or whatever before they can get to us. And I think a lot of those things had a trickle-down effect for those businesses. They weren't able to get their stuff out. Some of it maybe, they had to throw away. But I think the breweries that pivoted smartly were able to weather the storm to the point where the state was able to open again and get moving.
Right.
Lunacy, I think, is an example of how I think these guys tried to do what they could do, but then it didn't sort of work out for them. And they just said, you know what, is it worth going through all this effort and really, not, losing money or whatever. I mean, we're seeing, and it seems to be in Southern Jersey where we're seeing a lot of these breweries saying we're either closing, we're selling. I mean, you got Coho is selling. You have, oh my God, what's the one that's closing in November that I can't
Tuckahoe.
Tuckahoe, right? And they were doing well, but these guys want to spend more time with their families.
Right, and that was the same. That was the same thing with Kelly Green. The same thing. He decided after so many years he wanted to spend more time with his family. So that wasn't if both of those things are true. Right? I'm not saying they are. They aren't. I'm not pointing any fingers, whatever. But if both of those stories are true, that wasn't obviously a landscape, a business landscape. It wasn't a problem going on as far as being able to sell beer or not being able to sell beer. But it was a personal decision, right? So.
Right, but I think that had something to do with it. I think that those businesses specifically, and maybe others, never really recovered from the restrictions that were put on them.
Right.
And that prevented them from expanding. And then you throw the whole monkey wrench here where a bill's passed unanimously in both houses. The governor decides he's not going to sign it because he wants more. He's going to conditionally veto it, but they're in a lame duck. So if it doesn't happen 6 weeks after they get back from the election, the bill dies. So I think some businesses saw the writing on the wall, maybe not so Kelly Green in March, but maybe Lunacy saw the writing on the wall and said, look, we have no idea what's going to happen in the next 4 months. If we take a loan out from a bank, if a bank gives us one, and then they keep the rules the way they are, and we have to fight this battle all over again next year, how are we going to pay that nut? I mean, that's a problem. A place like Bolero that just redid their tap room and tasting room, maybe they have a little bit of a cushion to be able to do those things, even if it's not everything that they wanted to do or, only a quarter of what they wanted to do. They're trying to keep moving, the goalpost to see what happens here. I think some of these guys just are giving up and just saying, you know what, it's not worth my time.
Yeah, if that's the case. Yeah, you're right on that. It's, they didn't necessarily need to close, but what was the point of staying open if they weren't going to be able to do what they wanted to do or get to where they wanted to get because there was a lot of, uncertainty about what was going to happen.
And that's where I think the governor is being short-sighted here. I do agree with him on one point. He did make a mention of it in the Ask the Governor segment after I was off the phone with him when he was finishing up his remarks. When
you hung up, I stopped listening. So
when the report, I listened
to the whole thing. And did they get back to you like he said they would?
He did. They did. Okay. His people did call me, and I'll give you the little insight of that conversation. I'm actually going to play the entire interview or interview question, whatever it is, on my show this weekend. And then my second segment of the show is my response to all.
And how do people listen to that show, Al?
They can go to am970theanswer.com. You can go to iHeart. You can go to Alexa. Just say Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast. It pops up. Boom. You can play it. Show's on a podcast within a couple of minutes after the show ends at midnight Monday morning, about 5 after midnight. It's posted and you can listen to it whenever you want. But he said, the governor, and I agree with him, the question was posed, if you sign this beer bill, do you think that the legislature would take up the other two parts of the bill that were, sort of cut off from this original bill that was introduced? And he said, yeah. He said, if this gets passed, I think the other stuff goes away, because the legislature will have figured we've done our duty, let's move on. And that's where I agree with him. I do think the legislature would be like, well, what's the point? We don't need to do this. It's the breweries got what they wanted. The restaurants are going to, bitch and moan about whatever. It's not worth the time and effort. Where I disagree with him is his people contacted me on Thursday, and without getting too much into it, they basically said that there are conversations that are ongoing with the legislature. I heard that from somebody on the beer side as well before these people called me. So I think that they're sort of telling the truth here, that there are things moving along, that there's the possibility that once they get back to session after the election, that something could be done in short order. But my question to Governor Murphy's assistant there, Eric Brophy, his aide, there's a lot of other things that are going on in the state of New Jersey. Do you really think after the election in November that that's the first thing that the legislature is going to take up? I highly doubt that. Right. So we'll see.
The only thing that we can hope for is they'll look at the revenue that's at stake, because when that special ruling from the ABC came down, the craft beer segment of business in New Jersey was the fastest growing segment.
It has been for years now.
It has been for years.
And Murphy touts that, and that's the best part. You're talking about it, and yet you're trying to handcuff them. Why?
He does that, and he loves the craft beer. He's not just a dabbler. He enjoys an IPA.
Well, he drank that Icarus. He said it was good. So I mean,
and I guarantee you,
which is
drank
so
a little more than he said.
Listen, this is the same governor who told the ABC to go after Icarus to say you can't use this money to donate it to the Brewers Guild of New Jersey. So he talks out of both sides of his mouth.
Of course he does.
What he says
hey,
there.
Wait a second. You mean he's a politician?
Politicians talk out of both sides of their mouths? No.
Yeah.
That never happens.
You know why he talks out of both sides of his mouth?
Well, because of that snaggletooth.
The teeth make it go this way and that way.
Like, he doesn't even try to. It happens anyway.
That text that I got that him and his wife were at the Springsteen concert. I dropped my phone. Don't pop that up in my phone.
That was pretty bad.
You know what I love about the show? None of us can finish a joke. Someone else finishes it.
So we finish it. Yeah, exactly. we got a couple of questions here. Mark, we'll get to your question in a minute. Pete Koulos, Pete. You said well played. Not sure exactly what you meant with the well played, but it was for something one of us said. So thank you very much. But he did say
it may have been one of the boob jokes.
It could have been a boob joke. Yeah. He said, "What do you think about double nickel and Magnify expanding?" I wanted to bring that up too. So in light of everything that's going on, with what's the uncertainty of what, and hopefully something will obviously come from it, whatever. But in light of the breweries, some of the breweries closing, and what's going on in the state politically right now. What do you think about double nickel expanding and Magnify expanding? And he said it was the boob joke.
Smart, Peter. The double nickel thing, I think they're the ones that are expanding. They're putting a kitchen in, correct? They're converting themselves to a brew pub.
They bought a license.
Right. So smart move. Again, in South Jersey, it's really an oasis when it comes to restaurants and things of that nature. There's really not many that are close by. You don't find a lot of breweries in strip malls. You usually find them isolated. And out of the way. So this is a good move for them. They hire the right chef. They get the right food and the right mix in there. I think that's a bonus. The Magnify one, that's an interesting one. I like it. I like the fact that they're doing it. I've never been the biggest fan of Magnify. I think they're sort of, it's this. Like some months, their beers, spot on. They're perfect. You can drink them. It's great. Other times, it's sort of like there's something off here. There's not, and I don't know if it's changing of brewers, if it's recipes, whatever it is, but I don't feel like they're consistent enough. However, they are growing. They have been immensely popular over the last couple of years.
Because they're an IPA house.
Right. It makes absolute sense for them to push into South Jersey. And rather than go through a distributor, which you don't even know who's going to distribute beer at this point.
Right.
You might as well.
We're going to get to that.
Right. You might as well open your own brewery down in South Jersey where people can come to you. And then you've covered both ends of the state.
And Deptford's a great place to open.
Yes.
There's so much going on in Deptford.
At Deptford, or are they opening in
Medford?
Medford.
And there's Farm Truck Brewings in Medford, Lower Forge Brewings in Medford, Kings Road opened their second location. They're not too far away from their original location, Haddonfield. They opened in Medford. And there's a few other breweries not too far. I mean, not too far away from Mount Holly, which you got Spellbound and you got Stratosphere and Village Idiot.
Right.
So there's a decent concentration of breweries from there, from like say Mount Holly and then south. And I think it's a good spot. Is my point.
I just hope that they're not opening next to a distillery.
There you go.
So they don't have a second war
with them, right?
And the war is very one-sided, by the way.
On that, it is. On that note of
and speaking, you said distillery, but speaking of which, I'm gonna say this on my show, but I'll say it to you guys here. Murphy during this interview inferred that breweries, distilleries, and wineries cannot have food, and he's incorrect.
I yelled at my screen when he said that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no.
That to me shows you he doesn't even know the actual rules and how they are. And believe me, I've heard from a number of brewers who've talked to politicians who have no clue, what's going on with the distilleries and the wineries. So the fact that he didn't even know his own rules is amazing.
The one thing that he said in the interview that was great was he said, and I don't know if this is the first time he said it, but it's right there on record. We are not enforcing the rules until next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then how come Wet Ticket? How come Wet Ticket has to go to Trenton to fight? To fight them. So
all they got to do is show Murphy saying we're not enforcing it.
That's it.
They win. It's over.
He said it. Right.
He says it in the interview.
I think
they got fined before they decided not to put a moratorium on fines. And
they got fined for not giving a tour. You walk into the brewery, you look to your right. There's a picture that shows you how the brewing process is made. Anybody except for Mr. Magoo can see it. Mm-hmm. It's that clear. They said it was
Al.
Yeah. We're all Mr. Magoo on this show.
Exactly.
Yeah. On that note of South Jersey breweries, it's a little bit further north and right on the border, actually. But Mark Marketeer said, bit off topic, it's a beer show, right?
No, not yet.
He says, have you been to Subculture yet in Florence? I've been meaning to get there. I've been over there a couple of times and haven't had the opportunity to pop in, but I hear good things. I hear good things. Mark, you're right over there, right? You're not too far away. You must frequent there. You're not far away from there at all, right? Right into the comment. Don't just answer me. I can't hear you. But in any event, I actually was over the day they opened. They opened on I think they might have a soft opening on the Thursday. The Friday was their first grand opening day. I was actually in, what's the town? It's Florence, just north of Florence. It starts with an R, whatever the hell the name of the town is.
Just north of Florence, it begins with an R.
Raritan.
The thing just north of
Mark
Florence.
said, yes, I live in Florence. It has become his second home. Yes, I totally.
The thing just north of Florence is called Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, the town just north of Subculture. I was in that town, and where I was leaving at 9.
Tullytown, Pennsylvania is just north of Florence.
I was leaving at 9.
I'm looking at a map.
All right, I headed back. No, it's all right. So it's northeast. All right, you pain in the ass.
You're a pirate. You should be looking at a map.
Right.
And where's the big X? Where is that big X? Where's me booty?
There you go.
You're
sitting on it.
Bordentown is to the northeast, by the way.
It's another town that starts with an R. I'll think of it. It doesn't matter.
Remember Indiana Jones always said X never marks the spot. So.
X never marks the spot.
No,
exactly.
It's a little off to the side somewhere.
Exactly. Well, in any event, I was there at 9 o'clock. I left.
Oh, you're talking about Robbinsville.
No, not Robbinsville either.
There's nothing else with it.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me. In any event,
it came to me.
No, it's not Robbinsville.
Roebling.
It's
well,
Roebling.
that's just due east.
It's Roebling, yeah. So I'm in Roebling. I leave at 9. I get back on 195. I'm heading back across the state.
Everybody's Roebling.
I'm heading back across the state. I'm like, son of a bitch. Subculture was open until 10 o'clock. I was literally a mile away. I could have just popped over there, completely forgot.
Oh, fail.
Yeah, it was a fail. Big
That's
fail.
not even Roebling's not even a mile from Florence.
From where I was to where Subculture is was exactly a mile. Roebling is part of Florence. Yeah, I know. Mark just said Roebling is.
It's not even a mile.
It's not. Yeah, I was a mile. Bottom line, I was a mile away from the brewery, and I'm halfway home, and I realized
I failed.
I failed.
Yep. You failed.
Major fail.
So anyway. Okay, so
he's used to failing. Yeah,
it happens. It happens. So, in any event,
oh,
okay,
that's too much forehead there. I'm getting so much glare.
So now that's what
that's better.
It's been your forehead the whole time.
It's
all
just,
right. So here's the new big news.
The new big news.
We've known a little bit. Those in the industry have known about it for a little while, but it wasn't like official until just yesterday. Basically, it was made official. 100 distributors, 100 brewing, 100 distributors. They've been around since '96.
Did you open your second beer?
I did. Yeah. What's your second?
Let's
beer?
do before we move on.
There you go. What's your second beer?
Because I do want to talk about this beer because this is Ghost Talk. This Ghost Talk. This I got to do something about the light bulb in this lamp. And I opened the wrong one. This is Dortzfeld. I was supposed to open. We'll say I'm drinking a Geister.
Pretend you opened the right one. How's that?
Geister Falke, which is just German for Ghost Talk, which is their Märzen. And I'm like, and I really like their Märzen, but I like their Dortmunders much better because
Dortmunder Lager is always a very good choice.
Okay, so
right?
Dortmunder Gold by Great Lakes was the best Dortmunder in the country for the longest time. Yeah. Ghost Talk has eaten their lunch. This beer is so good. If anybody's
big words, go try it.
You've got to go.
I got to get back over there. It's been a while, and I like Steve. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah,
Steve's a great guy. Chris is a great brewer. I worked with Chris for years.
So. But the thing is, we you always talk about what your local brewery is, what the closest brewery is to you, right. And I think Johnny's with me on this one. Where when we talk about our local brewery, it's not the one who's geographically closest to us,
right?
So because I consider my home brewery, I consider Ghost Talk. Mm-hmm. No offense to the guys at Bolero Snort, I got to pass Bolero Snort to get there. Mm-hmm. Love those guys, really do. But Steve brews more towards my palate than Bob and Scott do,
right?
That makes sense. He's a master of German styles. He really is. Mm-hmm. He's fantastic with these German styles.
Chris is very good at what he does.
Did you have Bolero's Maybach though?
Yeah, the Maybach was very good, and the thing here's the thing: that's not their niche though.
No, I know.
And
their Mexican lager was good. I mean,
oh my god! But
their steam beer was great. Their Czech dark lager was great.
Oh, the Czech dark lager was fantastic.
I remember when they opened we were at the soft opening, the friends and family opening, and they had that The mild was amazing.
They need to put both of those back. They need to put the one with maple syrup.
And I tell people
the regular one. It was fantastic.
People ask me, "Does Bolero Snort make great beer?" I'm like, they can.
Right.
They don't always. But they have their niche.
Well, I mean, to your palate, they don't always. Let's be fair.
To my
daughter, they make great beer because all she loves is fruited sours, right?
My only issue, and I know it's for a good cause, but I'm not a fan of Fireman Ed. So
the beer or the guy.
No, the guy.
Okay.
And when I saw the beer, I was like, "Oh no!" And I was gonna call Scott and be like, "What are you doing?" And then I see that it's for a charity and they're raising money, whatever. I'm like, all right, am I going to drink the beer? No. Mm-hmm. The guy's a fraud. This is a guy who called up WFAN one day in the late 90s to say that he wanted to be placed on the injury report when they were doing updates to say he was questionable attending the game. I mean, could you be a bigger loser?
Gotta love it.
That's great.
And the best one was... real quick, I know that we talk beer, but this is a great sports story. So the Patriots beat the Jets on a Sunday night football game. I'm in the Patriot locker room. I'm waiting for there's a guy in the secondary. I can't. His name escapes me. Famous player.
Tyler.
No, and it wasn't Rodney Harrison, but it was somebody. It was somebody else in the secondary. Made a great interception. In the end zone where Fireman Fraud, as I like to call him, Fireman Ed, was sitting. Because the reason why I call him a fraud is this is a guy who announced that he wasn't going to go to Jet games anymore because he didn't like the way the team was the direction the team was going. You're either a fan or you're not.
Oh, you mean how John gives up on the Mets almost every single game?
But John is not at every Met game dressed like Mr. Met Jr. screaming, at 60,000
I would
fans.
Pay to see John dressed as Mr. Met Jr.
Right.
Really
but right, it'd be like the Giants having a mascot and John being there and screaming. No, this is
I gotta buy a fire helmet, paint it blue, and put
but I
Jersey
find
Johnny on the field
blue,
and
blue emoji with
but
you.
I feel bad for Fireman Ed's brother who's had to carry that load all those years to carry him on his shoulders. That's the guy I feel bad
He's
for.
a dinky little dude.
No, but so here's the thing. So I'm waiting for the guy to do the interview. I hand him my phone. He starts talking to ESPN. Bill Belichick walks in the room. Now the locker room is completely empty. It's me and the player, and here's Belichick. He walks over. He says to the player, he says, "Listen, great game tonight." And he says, "Thanks, coach." He goes, and then Belichick says, "Loved what you did to Fireman Ed," because he did the fake chant in the end zone after he got the interception. He goes, "Love what you did, to Fireman Ed." And he goes, "Oh, thanks, coach." And swear to God, on the life of my son, Belichick looks at him and he goes, "I fucking hate that guy."
But you know what?
I was crying laughing.
But
laughing. He just
that's
walked out of the room.
beautiful. I love it. But you call him fireman fraud. But Belichick knows who he is and hates him, which means he's doing something right.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
He's doing something right.
Yeah, remember, this is the same guy who wrote on a napkin, "I am no longer the HC of the NYJ," and handed in his papers when he got the head coaching job for the
That was his letter of resignation.
That's right. So there you go.
Anyway, you want to get the comments before we figure out where we were?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to put this one up because I have no idea what the hell it is. So
yeah, that's spam.
It's spam, right? We got a spam. We got spam from Twitch. Twitch.
Are they selling tickets to see here now?
No.
It's all the spam.
Some account on Twitch wants us to promote on their channel, so it's not happening.
Oh, God.
Anyway, but Dave Campanelle wrote in, Bolero snort equals lactose and cereal.
That's fair for about 70% of their beers.
There you go. And they also say Ghost Hawk is great, but also add in that Rutt's Hut is right across the street. And Silk City's next door too.
So and Silk City's next door. I picked up a bottle of their Cass Street bourbon while I was there. This weekend.
Ghost Hawk's in a great spot. The parking is sometimes a little dicey, if you're over there and it's packed. But I mean, the fact that Rutt's Hut is across the street is great. You grab something before you head back on the highway, and very easy to get to.
They've got a great relationship with them as well.
Sure.
Right, when they have big events, Ruts lets them use their parking lot.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
The Clifton cops are there to direct traffic across the street from people going back and forth.
I've been there for events, and that's happened. It was very good.
Breweries.
That was just
towns can work with breweries.
It was just this weekend. And the thing is, if you call them, it goes to their voicemail. They don't, they're not going to pick up at the brewery. I've never seen anybody pick up the brewery because they don't do that. But they'll say, "You've reached Ghost Hawk Brewing right across the street from world famous Rutt's Hut." It's mentioned right in there. And why not? Why not?
Yeah, they should. They should take advantage of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and they do.
Just in case you were wondering, my second beer, which I'm almost done with, by the way, is a Bolero Snort.
Look at that.
Oktoberfest. There you go.
By the way, and
that's a good beer.
And it's a Märzen. So.
And by the way, if you're looking for something fun to do, they're doing their Oktoberfest in Kronstadt this Saturday.
You mean
I have my
that one. Yeah,
I have my mug
right there
as well. I can't make it because I'm going to be at the Lost Tavern event. But you want a fun day?
We might go because I don't think we're going to go to the Lost Tavern.
Okay,
there you go.
That's a great event.
It's Carrie's kid's birthday. So
well, you know what happened last year? Scott calls me at last minute, says, "I need a judge for some food contest with meatballs or whatever."
Meatballs? I'm in.
That was a good movie.
We're eat. Yeah, okay.
Run,
so
Rudy,
said,
run.
Run, Rudy, can you be here at this time? I said, yeah. He goes, it's you and the mayor of the town and somebody else. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. I show up. I go there. And this was last year. I wasn't drinking the month of September. So I was like, oh, good. Well, no, wait.
I saw you never drinking there.
No, I know because this is why. I'm waiting. Noon, 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock. When's it starting? Oh, the mayor's coming soon. 3 o'clock. When's he coming? It's 4 hours later. The mayor didn't show up until like 5. I got so disgusted because I wasn't eating anything and waiting. I started drinking. I said, the hell with this. They gave me a mug. I started pouring. I was pouring my own beer at one point.
You poured my beer, I think.
I did. That's right. I think I did.
You did.
We had a good time, but we didn't eat. And Scott's apologizing profusely. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. And then I got a meatball sandwich from the guy next to them, and I just went, he's the winner. That's it.
End of story.
Done. Done. There you go. All right, so back to what we were saying after you were now that you're opening. Now
where
that
the
Dave's
hell
opening
were
his
we?
third beer.
Actually, technically, it's my fourth beer because 2 beers.
Well, you were talking about
right.
Ghost Talk. We got sidetracked with Bolero, and then
we're talking
We're on
about
to
Hunterdon.
Yes.
yes,
So the news broke yesterday.
My third beer is Oktoberfest. This is Toppling Goliath's Oktoberfest.
Toppling Goliath's Oktoberfest,
And I've poured it into my boot.
Was that actually in New Jersey?
Yes.
Did you get? Wow, surprising. Because
I
I've only
found-
seen a couple of their big offerings of Toppling Goliath. I've not seen the one-offs like the Martin.
Some one-offs make it in, and just very small runs of them. So you got to find it because you get it and it's gone. It's a quick hit.
Got it.
So.
Jersey City Buy Right had a shit ton of it actually.
Oh,
And
really?
They must have just got it in because it wasn't in their system.
Is that the one that's right out of the Holland Tunnel?
Yep.
Oh, then I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, I'm going to stop there tomorrow. Then on my way home.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's where they have it. Let me tell you if it's. Let me tell you first if it's worth your stop there, Al.
All right. Well, they do have other stuff there.
Oh yeah, they do.
It's not like I can't find something to buy there.
Right. It's not like you're going there, and if they don't have it, then I got to leave.
You're walking out.
Yeah, you know what? It's Toppling Goliath.
So there you go.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Fair enough.
Damn. These guys, man, they can fucking brew, can't they?
They do know what they're
can.
doing. They do know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I spoke with their owner once when they first came into the state. Because what was it? Peerless. Was it Peerless that brought them in?
Peerless brought them in.
Right. They did an event at Paragon, and then I talked to the owner.
No.
A couple days later. No, it's not Peerless.
Remarkable brought them in.
Remarkable.
It's Remarkable or Serene.
That's remarkable.
It was either Remarkable or Serene. I think it was Remarkable.
I think you're right. I think it was Remarkable.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, this is good, Al.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta get it. No, you know who I'm thinking of?
Revolution.
Revolution
came in
was
through
Peerless.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
So speaking of distribution, now that we said that, that was a perfect segue. All right. So it's almost like he knows what he's talking about.
We took a major detour.
Yeah, but we got back. We got back. We got pros on this show. That's why.
Full disclosure: this is a show talking about beer, and we're drinking beer. So what do you expect? There are going to be a few detours along the way.
So it's been out.
It never happens on this show.
It's been out in the industry for several weeks now, but it wasn't. It was confirmed. You know, it was released out there. It was put out there by Hunterdon just yesterday. And I'll read a quick portion of their post that they put up yesterday. It's with heavy hearts that we announced Hunterdon Brewing Company, which is a distribution company, will be closing its doors December 1st, 2023. Our last day of deliveries will be Thursday, November 30th. From Hunterdon Brewing Company's humble beginnings of just 2 guys delivering beer from a van in 1996 to our current 142 employee statewide operation, it's been nothing short of a wild ride. I wanted to get to that point because that means that 142 people in the craft beer industry are going to be out of work come December.
And many of them are our
just
friends.
Before Christmas. Right.
And many of them are our friends.
And we know many of them, yes.
And so my biggest question here with Hunterdon is, did they notify the state properly? Because the state rule is they have to inform them if they're going to close within 6 months. They're closing in December. That's 4 months. That means they didn't do their due diligence, which tells me they're going to get fined. I
have been talking to a few people regarding this for a bit. I mean, I can go back and see when the first post was text was that I got on the matter. It could have been 6 months before. I don't think it was. It might have been 5 months before.
But there would have been an announcement. There would have been an announcement. But the state, when they do that, the state has to put it out publicly, and it's usually a news story if there are layoffs. So that's why I'm saying, did they do their due diligence here? Because if they didn't, then that's going to be a problem.
Well, here's why I think, and this is just me personally, and you guys know how I feel about this particular situation when it comes to beer and the beer business in New Jersey. The biggest player involved in this closing is the biggest player involved in the purchasing of the brands for distribution. And that's the other side of this coin.
And it's the biggest beer company in the state.
And it's the biggest beer company in the state. It's the biggest beer company in the country. It's the biggest beer company.
They brew the most barrels of beer in the state.
AB InBev, Anheuser-Busch, AB InBev is purchasing at minimum the top 35 brands from Hunterdon, which means all of your Allagash, all of your Stone, all of your Founders, all of your
Trogs,
all of your Trogs, all of your really.
You can stop.
I can keep going.
Please stop there. I'm going to cry right on the show.
Avery. I was going for Avery. And so forth and so on. And Canarchy brands. I mean, your Oscar Blues is going to be being distributed by AB InBev in the state of New Jersey. Okay, so there's that, and this is on the heels of AB InBev selling off the distribution rights to
Tilray.
to Tilray back in was it June or July? They did it. Yeah.
I bought the stock; it plunged today, so it's great. I bought it a month ago, so trying to weather the storm. But the AB InBev, it's interesting. You wonder if some of these breweries are now suddenly going to try and back out of the deal, because what's the guarantee that AB InBev actually delivers them?
Can they?
But
there's certainly not.
Is AB InBev actually going to deliver Founders or Trogs to your local craft brewery?
And not only that, because that's major competition.
It is major competition.
They've been taking percentages away from AB InBev for a very, very long time.
Right.
Now, Founders for a while, didn't they have a relationship with AB InBev?
That's what I'm aware of.
A little one, but Founders has their own.
Right.
Founders has their own issues, so it's why you're not seeing that much of it around. They've sort of shifted PR firms.
We're seeing their major stuff, but we'll see All Day IPA, but we're not going to see any of what you're drinking right now, asshole.
No, and I used to have a great relationship with them, and they shifted PR houses, and then the PR house that they shifted to was sort of not really cool with me, and then somebody direct from the company got in touch with me, and I sort of still have a contact with them, but I was very, very friendly with their brewmaster, Jeremy Kosmicki, their owners, a lot of good stuff. And then all the other stuff happened, and then they shut one of their main places. They're only opening Grand Rapids now. So it's, they've got some issues.
You know what? They've got some issues if there's people there that are not cool with you. People who are not cool with Al Gattullo. No. But this, I think this stems from they had a race issue at one of their places.
They did. That was that. They said it was not in Grand Rapids. That was in their.
Yeah. Was that
Kalamazoo? No.
Oh, Detroit. Okay.
It's Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, in Detroit. And then
I can't imagine it being in Kalamazoo. Right.
They said they were going to, straighten things out, and they were going to do all the sensitivity training and this and that. And apparently they had done so. And then 2 years later, it rears its ugly head again at a different location or at the same location, something like that. And they had a lot of blowback, and people were like, "We're done." And I kind of said, you do it the first time, you make your apologies, you say you're going to change, and you start making changes. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You do it again. That to me, that's a systemic problem within your organization. There's somebody in there that's not, playing by the rules, and that's not.
Yeah, someone needs to go.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Two things really quick. This guy, I'm not sure who he is, but Matt Potensky, I think is his name. Potensky. I've had one or two good beers from Toppling Goliath.
Toppling and Goliath. There's Toppling and there's Goliath.
And there's Goliath as well. That's right. Unless you mean something completely different. I don't know. Hi, Al, he said. So there you go.
Hi, Matt. Miss you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while.
There you go. So I pulled this up really quick. This was on Beer Advocate from September 1st. So according to employees, she and family companies owned Hunterdon Brewing. The statewide distributor of numerous craft brands and imported brands has sold the distribution rights to much of their portfolio to New Jersey AB houses and told 141 employees that they were being laid off within the coming months. Some of Hunterdon brands include Bell's, Allagash, Abita, Brewdog, Canarchy, Founders, Great Lakes, Lagunitas, River Horse in state, which includes DuClaw now, obviously.
River Horse just had that deal, and now they're
Von Trapp, Trogs, and many, many more. Sheehan, which used to be called L Knife, did something similar in a few New England states recently. The entire company has been having internal problems among the family members.
Well,
there you go.
That's part of it, but I know the Sheen family was fined heavily in Boston.
Oh, big
for
time.
a lot of different things.
Big time, yeah, in Boston. Years ago they were in Hoboken too for some pay-to-play.
Right,
stuff,
and it was like, we're talking about millions of dollars they were fined, and so it sounds to me like some of the family is like, look, we got to get out. We're done. They want their money, and they're sort of spreading it around. But the trickle-down effect of this is that a lot of breweries around the country that are really good, that are, on that level of the top 50 in the country, are not going to have their beer poured here in New Jersey, because you're right. There's no benefit for AB to distribute these beers.
But because is there a way for them to back out if AB InBev is not properly representing them?
That's the only way they're out, because if they signed a contract with Hunterdon, and believe me, Hunterdon's contracts are ironclad. You're not getting out of that unless they want to let you leave or you pay a certain amount of money, right?
Right.
Because you can do that too. You can buy
or you go out of business.
Back. Or you go out of business, right?
Right.
But short of going out of business or buying your distribution back, all right. If they sell the paper to AB InBev, AB InBev's your distributor, and you have nothing to say about it. End of story. That's the end of it. Unless some form of a clause was put in there that they have to approve the sale. That's the only other caveat.
Well, they wouldn't have announced that they were.
They wouldn't have announced that was the case.
Yeah,
right. I'm sure that wasn't a sale, and I'm sure Hunterdon never put that in there because they're not going to certainly do that.
No,
they're going to want the money if that's a sale. So,
and as big as Hunterdon seemed, who would have ever thought something like this would happen?
Well, writing was on the wall for a while.
Hunterdon for a while. Define a while.
Years. What to Al's point before, with what was been happening up in Boston, with the fines up in Boston, with the same kind of a thing happened up in Boston, and
those fines in Boston were before the pandemic.
They were before the pandemic.
Oh wow,
2018, 2019,
yeah.
So we're talking, a while here, and not only that,
at least
but
3 years. Right.
They just keep bringing in brands, and they're competing against themselves, because there's a finite amount of tap lines in New Jersey. There's a finite amount of shelf space in New Jersey. So the more brands they bring in, they're fighting for shelf space with themselves.
It's really not with themselves, and it's the newest because they're playing with other breweries.
No, I understand that, but the bottom line is they bring in a brewery, and then 6 months later they bring in another brewery, and then the other brewery that they brought in 6 months earlier gets forgotten about because they have the new flavor.
It's that whole Eagles song, "The New Kid in Town."
Right.
It's there's many people that probably will not mourn the loss of Hunterdon. Mm-hmm. What they will mourn is the loss of Hunterdon's portfolio to big beer.
Right.
That's
and the loss of 140 jobs that
absolutely. And as I
you're not going to replace all of them. Some guys will go and they'll try to work for an independent brewer or whatever, but it's a big loss.
Many of those are, as I said earlier, many of those are our friends.
Yeah, many of those people are great people, great men and women. Yep. That worked for that company for years, and I've been known them for many, many, many years, and they work their asses off, and they don't necessarily deserve that. But it's business, and what are you going to do, right? You just pick yourself up by your boots and carry on. But that there's a lot of issues with this. But the bottom line is the beer coming into the state is going to diminish, because AB InBev is never going to put as much beer, craft beer, of those brands out on the shelves as Hunterdon was. Never going to happen.
And that's why I think it's even more imperative to get this beer bill passed, or some form of it, because the New Jersey breweries have a golden opportunity here.
Yeah,
to get themselves into other bars. Like, hey, look, you know what? You're not going to get your Trogs anymore. You're not going to get your Founders. Guess what? I've got something that can replace that.
Right.
But there's a question here. It's a legal question, and almost a federal legal question. Is if AB InBev is holding back breweries in their portfolio, does this fall under the antitrust law?
We have to prove it.
Yeah,
right.
Prove it.
So,
it should be pretty easy to improve.
But I'll bet you
that they're going to put just
AB's
enough
argument.
out.
Well, that or AB InBev's argument would be, look, we're trying to go to these bars and sell this beer. They don't want to work with us. So what are we supposed to do?
AB InBev, right? That'll
By the way, you know one place that's not going to be buying from them.
That'll be Cloverleaf Tavern, who will not deal, which is the biggest craft beer bar in the state.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get Founders, you're not going to get Trogs, you're not going to get Allagash, you're not going to get any of those things.
Jesus Christ.
At Cloverleaf.
Which means they've got to completely redo their PhD and MBA cards.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow. You know what, John?
Nobody thought of that, right?
No, that's a good... John, we need to get Ryan on the show to talk about this.
Yeah, we really probably should get Ryan based on that to have him come back on the show. But
see how he's going to respond to this.
You know what? I mean, here's the thing, though. There's two sides of this,
Jesus
right?
Christ. Let's not leave this yet. Cloverleaf has had many major events at their bar based off of Founders beers.
Founders,
the breakfast
Allagash.
The breakfast stout.
The breakfast stout.
The breakfast stout event is amazing.
CBS event.
You have a line outside down the street of people in their pajamas.
Mm-hmm. I've done it. It's great.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a great event.
Not anymore.
That's gone.
I used to walk to it 3 blocks away. Yeah.
But the events.
That was great when I lived 3 blocks away from the Cloverleaf. That was amazing.
But think about that. Think about that trickle down effect. That's a day for them where they make a ton of money in the morning before their whole day has even started on a Saturday.
Right. They've made more than they normally make on their Saturday before they would start making any money.
And all three of us know this. What many of our listeners may not know, it's not just the beer they're losing on, because they use that beer to make the food for the brunch.
Sure.
Right. That French toast. Oh my God.
Amazing. Banging.
It's amazing. There's so much lost here when they do this.
Yeah. Imagine CBS flight with maple bourbon French toast.
Yeah.
And a CBS KBS breakfast stout flight. Absolutely.
I love CBS.
Oh my God.
And I think that's coming back. The last time I talked to Jeremy Kosmicki was about 1.5 years ago.
But when are we gonna get it?
That's the thing. We might not.
I bought a bunch. The last time they did the large format bottles,
big bottles.
Big bottles, was it 2017, I believe? So that's like 6 years ago. Something
like
that. No, they did the small bottles since then, but no.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. They moved I bought a bunch then. I still have 2 bottles of that left. I'm wondering how they held up.
The year that came out, I think that was 2017. Yeah, 2017. Mm-hmm. So that was 6 years ago. So they sent me, because I was putting together a beer basket for our high school reunion.
Get ready for
and I had put a bottle of CBS. Wait, what?
Get ready for Johnny's finger again.
Yeah, no. But they put it. I had put a bottle of CBS in this package or whatever, this and that, and I had the owners in to chat. And I remember Dave Egbers was like, "Oh, you put one of those in there?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "We'll send you more." And I said, "No. I want to." What? The next day, I had 4 more bottles of CBS. I was
that's very nice.
Johnny, you're not going to.
No, I've gotten my share of comp beer. I'm fine. We're good.
Yeah. I might still have a bottle in the basement. I have to check.
Al destroys us on comp beer.
Yeah.
No. I get my little Stone just sent me a thing today that they're sending me a package on Monday. I have no idea what it is, but apparently I'm getting something from Stone on Monday.
So are you going to do a reveal show?
I could.
You got to do a TikTok with a reveal.
I could. I don't do the TikTok thing. I don't want the Chinese getting any of my information.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
For those who have only watched us in the audio, you really got to watch that.
You got to watch this show. You got to turn into this. Yeah. Matt also has bottles of 2017 CBS. Okay, so all right, so I'll take one of mine. Al takes one of his. Matt takes one of his. We'll drink all 3. The 4 of us will drink all 3, and we'll see which of the 3 held up the best.
And I'm sitting there like the fly on the wall, going,
"Wait,
how did I get
us themselves or the bottles? Because if we drink all 3 of them, we're going to be."
Well, we'll see how good the 4 of us hold up too. So there.
That's be a good marker right there.
There you go.
Oh boy,
there you go.
I'm on my next, by the way.
There you go. Well, this is, by the way, I'm almost finished with my third. I didn't put it up just to throw that up.
Throw your third up there.
My third was this right here. One of my faves. Germany, Paulaner Oktoberfest.
And for an Oktoberfest show, this is
from
a good thing.
from Munich.
from Munchen.
From
Munchen. And the thing is, this is an appropriate beer to put for an Oktoberfest show because this is actually one of the breweries that will be probably the only brewery that will be drank on the show tonight that has a fucking tent at Oktoberfest.
Not just a tent.
There you go.
Not just a tent.
Oh no, it's
a fucking tent.
A fucking tent.
Right, there you go.
Well, because the thing is, those things they call them tents.
No,
they're small villages.
This is a village.
It's a goddamn.
It's a wedding tent for one brewery.
Right.
Because John's got another German. I have a German I'm going to drink. Neither of them have a tent.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's not in Munich, right?
Neither of them are Munchen.
Right. Mine's in Eying, and yours is in Erding. So, and Matt is drinking a beer. He says he's drinking a Freising Tide. What is this beer you speak of, Matt?
Oh,
Freising Tide.
He's talking about this beer right here.
Oh, yes.
No, he's talking about this beer right here.
No, he's talking about this beer right here.
No, it's this one right here.
No, it's right here.
Right here. Unfortunately, I haven't seen Al in the last couple of weeks. So
you need to get him some stuff.
Yeah.
And now that was our gratuitous product placement.
There you go.
From our sponsor.
But
exactly.
By the way, speaking
for all your Brewworks needs.
Speaking of which, the beer at Sea Here Now. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, I like Sierra Nevada. Don't get me wrong, and it was nice they had a tent there. But that's my one big faux pas of this whole event. Like, you've got Wild Air up the street, you've got Bradley Beach down the road. There's a lot of breweries. I get it; it's a money thing.
Cane's nearby, Gretchen's nearby,
right? So Founders, I think, was the headliner for the first 2 years of the festival, and I think Sierra Nevada just took over this year or last year, whatever it was. I mean, yeah, it's nice. Hazy IPA, okay, they got the regular.
Right.
They had Oktoberfest there,
right,
which was cool. So I got a can of that, cool. And that was actually very good. But I mean, come on, that's your only beer offerings. Everything else is White Claw, Josh. Somebody's running over to the Tito tent. Although they had a whiskey where. Who was it? Nathaniel Rateliff of the Night Sweats played, which I thought was the best act of the night.
I love fucking Night Sweats.
Mm-hmm. They did an old fashioned using this Prohibition whiskey that was out of sight. I mean, it was fantastic.
Nice.
Probably the best drink I had.
Nice.
Anybody who's not seen Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats in concert, that was my first time and blown away. Mm-hmm. They did Dancing in the Dark. The place was bananas. They did dance. Yes, that's right. They did. I saw them.
It's as
well because they were at Summer Stage last year.
Right.
Yeah, you saw them there,
and I missed that. It was sold out. I couldn't get in.
Dave bought your tickets. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, you can give me the finger if you want.
We're very free with the fingers tonight.
You started it. But they are a fun show. It is hard not to move when they're playing.
Right. There were 5 women to the left of me, and it was towards the end of the concert. And I've never seen 5 women dance the way they danced the last 10 minutes of the show. It was, they were completely immersed in the whole thing. It was fantastic.
This was Saturday night or Sunday night?
Saturday.
Then you've never been to a John Mayer concert.
No. Okay. I haven't. Although I should. He plays a really good guitar.
He does.
He really does.
And I do have to tell you, I have not been to a John Mayer concert, but I have seen John Mayer play 5+ songs.
Yeah.
Because I was at Live Earth back in.
Oh, there you go.
Was it 2007?
I just think of him and Chappelle. I think of him and Chappelle.
Oh my God, those are the best skits.
That's the best. When he starts wailing and the guy in the barbershop says, "Shut up!
What the fuck?
What the?"
But
add the drums.
The drums,
and then they're all.
But I love how they're all just kind of calm when the guys then it just go bananas. It's great.
That's a great skit.
Matt Wade and the Chappelle Show skit with John Mayer is fantastic. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Good.
Go to John. And the thing is, John Mayer. Say what you want about him. Too many people. We know too much about his personal life to really actually like the guy. I think.
Well,
we know too much about a lot of people's personal lives these days.
Yeah,
Body was a wonderland,
but he can play. And when you get someone like, so he did a free show in one of the parks in New York City, and Clapton shows up. When you get that kind of friggin' recognition, you're doing something right on the guitar.
He holds his own with the rest of them, but I think when you're talking strictly blues, everyone's kind of like, John Mayer? Like,
that's pop. He's pop blues.
He's pop blues.
But you know what?
I would like to point out, I don't want to make anybody feel old, but you remember his first hit was, what's the name of it?
Oh, sure.
No.
Your Body's a Wonderland.
No.
No.
I want to run through the halls of my high school. Scream at the top of my list. No such thing. That's the name of it. No such thing. Okay. He says, I can't wait for my 10-year reunion. Right. Well, he's beyond his 30-year reunion now. So I just wanted to point out.
He's had some staying power. Well,
right. A little bit.
Give him some credit. Right. He's had some staying power.
But that's the thing that I would like to see. I'd like to see more of a local presence at some of these things.
I agree.
When it comes to beer stuff.
Yeah. But you know what? That's
work with them and do it anywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter. Obviously, Asbury Park. We see here now. Work with the local breweries there.
That's the event.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever you're doing it, work with local. There's so much.
Right.
Local.
You give the national their due. They had a tent and you could sit and hang out or whatever this that. But give the small guy, a little thing off of one of the stages where he can sit there and sell his beer. I think that would be a great boost, first off, to the local economy, number one. But number two, it puts that, ABC brewery or whatever it is on the map, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know what it is? It makes sense. That's why they won't do it. So.
Oh, yeah. No one does anything makes sense.
You know what? We can work on that for next year.
That's a Talking Head song right there. Stop making sense.
Stop making sense. Well, it's a movie, wasn't it?
A Talking Heads movie, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Based off the song.
So what's your fourth beer you're drinking there, dude?
Back to Vitamin C, Weymouth, Massachusetts. Tina Weymouth, the bass player for Talking Heads.
There you go.
Everything comes around.
Wait, was the town in Massachusetts named after Tina Weymouth from?
I don't think so. But see, it's funny because it's such a small town in Massachusetts. The only way I remember it is because I play bass. And one of my favorite bass players is Tina Weymouth. So I always remember where Vitamin C is located. So the beer that I just opened is I went back to Wall and Paul Pack.
You did.
Okay.
And
I don't have that up here because I have your Germany one that I'm having my Germany one here. So
I'll chug this right down and open the.
Well, knock yourself out. You do you. I'm just saying. I don't have a crow for you as my point.
One of these days, I want to see someone someone says that to them, just take a 2x4 and knock themselves out with it. That'd be awesome.
Knock yourself out.
Literally knock themselves out. That'd be amazing.
Hold on, let me. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, all right. So to wrap up the Hunterdon story here, it's
oh god, we have spent so much time on this Hunterdon story.
Yeah, no,
on sidebars.
But it
affects a lot of different things.
Does. I mean, this is my point, right?
Yeah,
so the bottom line being, it's good and it's bad. It's bad for the people that are getting laid off. Okay,
absolutely.
It's bad for the breweries that are going to lose money in their distribution rights in New Jersey because it's just going to be a fact. That's what's going to happen. Right. And unless they can somehow figure out how to get out of it. And we're talking about Founders. We're talking about the Stones. We're talking about the. But
some of those
Rolling Stones, right?
No. But some of those breweries do have the money to get out of them. That's why I think you're going to see a bunch of them just go, yeah, you're not distributing.
Yeah, not happening. We're out.
Maybe we're
probably talking about 4 or 5 breweries that can't.
Yeah,
can't back out of it.
So maybe we're lamenting what was going to happen to the Founders events at Cloverleaf a little too soon.
Right, and that
Founders has the money to get out of it.
Al, you obviously you speak to Founders, we don't, so you might be able to.
Well, they're owned by Mahou. I mean, Mahou is huge. I mean, they own Avery, they own Founders, they own. There's a third one. I'm missing the third one, and I can't remember.
Right. Hold on.
It's another brewery in Colorado. Why can't I think of it?
Not great to find.
All right, but regardless, they have the money. New Belgium, that's it. Yeah. They have the money, right? So they can get out. Trogs, while very independent, would certainly have the money to pay off, AB and just say, we're going to another guy. Right. Stone, which is owned by Sapporo now, certainly has the cash flow to do it. I mean, they've proven that.
Either that or they'll just close Stone now too.
Well, especially after they get their money from closing Anchor.
Right.
Well, they just spent a shit ton of money, in Virginia upgrading so they could make Sapporo in the Virginia facility to get it on the East Coast. So the money is not the object there. Allagash probably has the money to back out. Oscar Blues and Kenarchy certainly has the
funding to do that.
Yeah. So I think a lot of these guys have the ability to back out and, walk away and do another deal. But then that leaves what? That leaves Peerless. That leaves Cape Beverage.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves who else would be the big player? I think they're the only two really big players. I mean, I know there are.
Well, you got your boutiques, you got your Serene, you got your Remarkable. Right. Obviously, they don't have as many boots on the ground and trucks on the ground, wheels on the ground as Peerless does. But Peerless doesn't cover the whole state though either. So remember that they cover 13 counties, and there's 21 in the state. So they'd have to work up with a couple of their houses as well. So
that wouldn't surprise me if Cape Beverage came in and sort of picked up some of those that they could handle in the southern half of the state, because they're looking to. Cape Beverage was looking to push north anyway. This is a golden opportunity for them.
Right. As that, so some of these brands could go with Peerless for 13 counties north and Cape for the rest of the state.
Right.
That's possible too. Sure.
Yep. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. But like I said, it's bad for the people that are losing their jobs. It's bad for the breweries 100%. That have had a footprint in the state. And I'm not talking about the fly-by-nights, like the 450 Norths that send a pallet of beer once every couple of months to New Jersey, something like that. Half the cans explode, but we won't go there right now. But in any event, stuff like that. But the ones we've been talking about, the brands we've been talking about, Allagash, Stone, so forth and so on, losing a footprint or have to refigure out what they're going to do or have to spend money to get out of it, right? But it's also good for the New Jersey brands because it's going to open up tap lines, even if it's for a short window or even for a little bit longer window. It's going to open up tap lines. It's going to open up shelf space.
That's where you have to capitalize.
That is why you have to capitalize on it, right? Exactly.
Yes. Your best beer, whatever it is, you've got to get it in people's hands. You've got to have a guy, go into all these different bars and saying, look, we have this beer and it's comparable to this one. And, we're going to knock your socks off with it. And by the way, it's right here in Jersey. And by the way, it's a way of, it's another way of supporting and getting a big brand name off of your tap list.
Exactly.
The two of you just called out all the New Jersey breweries saying, here's your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the major
for the ones that want to jump after it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Some of the major players are going to disappear for a while because let's face it, they're not going to be able to immediately buy themselves out. They're not immediately be able to fill that void.
There's going to be a period of time that's going to be downtime. And even when they come back, even if they go with Peerless or Cape Beverage or anyone else, all right, when they do,
get on there.
It's going to take a while to get in and for them to ramp up to where their distribution footprint
right
was
now,
with Hunterdon.
Local breweries, you've just been called out. Take this opportunity. Get yourselves on those shelves. Get yourselves on those taps.
And let's think about it. Some of those breweries. When was the last time you saw something from Allagash aside from the white or their? I forget. Weren't they doing a more mainstream sort of beer? They were getting
they had an IPA on there,
right? But if you go to Allagash or that surrounding area, you get more things that they do. They were only
you go into New York City, you're going to get more stuff than you go to New Jersey. Yeah,
but Stone saturates the state with a lot of different things. They don't just send their Stone IPA. They do send a bunch of different things. So it'll be interesting to see how they pivot, and shift. Founders, for the most part, all day IPA. A couple of things, but not
seasonals, but nothing crazy. Yeah,
but nothing that it was 5 years ago.
It depends on which bar you go to.
Right. Well, that's the other thing too. It depends on the store and it depends on the bar because they're sending in these brands you're talking about. Allagash, you're talking about Stones. By the way, I just had this up. Dave, you and I should get to Allagash. Hey. No, I'm kidding.
We were there.
We were there. Yeah,
that was somebody's birthday, by the way.
It was Carrie's birthday. But in any event, I digress. Whatchamacallit? But my point is, where was my point?
Schneider Weiss.
I know Schneider Weiss, the glass. I have the same one back over here.
You may have one of these.
I have one of these, right? Exactly.
I understand an amazing human being gave that to you.
An amazing human being gave that to me. Yeah, the glass is actually right there. Okay, and it was. You bought two of them. You kept one and gave one to me.
So no.
You bought three of them, kept two, and gave one to me.
I bought four, kept two, gave you two.
Oh, that's right. You gave me 2. Yeah,
I gave you 2, and they're the same 2 that I have.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you bought 2 and 2, and gave 1 and 1 to me, and kept 1 away.
Actually, I bought 2 for me.
Mm-hmm.
You saw them, liked them. I went back and bought the other 2.
There you go. I see what you did. All right, there you go. But in any event, yeah, these. Well, my point was something. My point was you totally blew my point, right?
Yeah,
it was.
You were talking about how these breweries. Now I've lost it.
You've lost it again, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, the bigger brands, these. Oh, that's what I was saying. They send beer in, right? These brands we're talking about. They send beer into the state. They're going to send a fair amount of, like Allagash. Take Allagash. They're going to send a fair amount of Allagash White and a few others and stuff they do, and some of their cool ship stuff.
Yeah, we'll get some of the cool ship stuff.
We're gonna get a small amount. The state's going to get a small amount of some other things. But those things are going to be allocated to people that buy a lot of beer from that particular distributor, and that's what Hunterdon did. That's what most distributors do, right?
Sure.
And of course that brand too, brand loyalty, and that's what's going to go. So you're not going to get it everywhere, and not everybody's going to be exposed to that beer coming into the state. If you go to, like you said, Cloverleaf, or another bar of the same level, Stashes, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're going to go to a couple of, the bigger craft liquor stores, the destinations that you're going to get these in. Those are the places that are going to have the beers. Boone, right?
Right.
Nowhere else is going to get these not because they don't want them, because there's none for them to get.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what the point is. So the beer will be here, but it comes into the state. It's not like the brewery only sends 1 or 2 SKUs in. They send more, but they send a lot of these and a really small amount of the others, and only those particular places get the good stuff, if you will. It's all good, but
bring up Matt's comment, because I want to mention that.
All right,
I want to talk about this.
Matt said, "Haven't seen a Founders Porter on tap in a while." Yeah, I haven't either.
But that's our
Mark
fault.
McAteer said Tom Tom Club. That was from. I apologize.
That was a while
Mark,
back.
That was about 9 minutes ago. So I'm not sure what that meant, but I'm sure that's something to do with See Here Now, maybe. And
but what Matt says there, that's more off our fault, because Founders Porter is a fantastic porter. It really is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Do we drink it? No. It's just like it's the same.
It falls
thing with
in the
Anchor.
same category with Anchor, right? Exactly.
Right. It's the same. Whereas like Founders, no, I want CBS, I want KBS, I want this, I want that. Porter, why would I drink their porter?
Let me ask you a question.
But Matt's, I love his comment, because he's absolutely right. Founders Porter is an amazing porter.
It is.
It really is. But nobody drinks it.
Well, I'm going to ask you with this question, and Al, you can answer this too. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I'm not saying this. I'm not blowing smoke up Coastal Brewworks' ass by any means, but I'm using it as an example. Okay. If you go to a bar,
product placement warning.
No, seriously, no, it's an honest question. You can replace what I'm asking with any other porter, but just hear me out. You go to a bar, you're going to have a porter, and there's Founders Porter on tap, and there's Coastal Brewworks Nautical Twilight on tap. Which one are you ordering?
Well, Nautical Twilight,
right?
Every fucking time,
hands down.
And Founders Porter is amazing, but it's the local aspect, right?
The last
local thing, right?
The last time I had a Founders Porter, 2015.
Wow!
So,
did you look that up?
Probably,
did you know that?
Yeah, I did. No. I looked at. I had my Untapped open, and I did a quick search.
Like, wow, that's
Founders,
good. That's really.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm taking Prevagen. My memory's not that good. So, with 2015, and I didn't click on it or whatever. It probably had that at Paragon. I guarantee you, I didn't have it in a bottle or a can. It was probably on tap. So he's right.
2015. That would be early on at Paragon too, when they were like,
my God. So, Al, my last time was 2013. I was at Cloverleaf Tavern watching my Oklahoma Sooners.
All right, now you're gonna make me look now too. So, all right.
No, but think about it. That's a great example. It's a great porter, but most people wouldn't drink that, and probably what sells better for Founders is the stouts.
Yes.
As opposed to a porter. People don't want to drink a beer that's 7%, even if it's dark.
Even Rubaeus sells better than the porter.
Yeah, and I was never a big fan.
No, I'm not a huge fan of Rubaeus, but it sells better than their porter.
The last time I had Founders
I like
Porter,
Cerise a lot better than Rubaeus. I'll say that.
Okay.
the last time I had Founders Porter, the anniversary of the last time I had Founders Porter is in 2 days. Will be the 10th anniversary. So
Even worse than the two of us.
10 years ago in 2013 at Andy's Corner Bar in.
Oh, you got a pretzel with it.
Pagoda, and I got a pretzel with it. There you go. Right, exactly.
So mine was mine. Oh, yeah. You're even worse than me because my 10-year anniversary for drinking my last porter is a week from Thursday.
There you go. So you had it a week after I did.
Yeah.
There you go.
At a different bar.
Exactly. All right. So look, but that's exactly what we're talking about, and this is the point that we were making. The point I made. I'm not trying to say that Nautical Twilight's better than Founders Porter. It's a different porter than Founders Porter, but
it's a coffee porter.
It's the local, right? It's the local thing, right? It's the local aspect. It's new, and it's newer, right? Yeah. If Nautical Twilight was 12 years old, you might get the Founders Porter, and
it's brewed by Matt Patensky.
Well, that's the other thing too. So.
Right. It's still. I listen. No, and you know me. If
beer.
I don't like it, I'm going to tell you it's a great beer.
It's
probably
beer.
Out of the ones that you guys have done so far, that's my favorite.
I agree with you, Al. It's absolutely if you're going to give me 2-3 cases of any beer from these guys, that's the one I want.
2, 3. Wow,
2 or 3 cases.
4-pack. 4-pack.
You just give me one 4-pack.
Al, you don't know what happened last weekend.
No, let it go. Well, he's on the list, but I haven't seen him. So,
all right. Yeah. Okay.
In any event,
fair enough.
All right. So that being said, look, yeah. There's a lot going on in New Jersey. There's a lot going on in the beer business. There's a lot going on in the craft beer business.
Yep.
Just pay attention, do the right thing for your local brewery and for whatever you can, however you can support the people that are, coming into the state that deserve to be here.
I think you raised something bigger that affects everybody in the country. And I think going forward, if things don't change, it's going to be a problem, not only for craft beer, but for other things. We have an inflation problem in this country.
Mm-hmm.
We have people now that don't have a lot of disposable income. And when they do, they're spending it in different areas as opposed to, hey, I'm going to go to the brewery and pick up a 4-pack, or I'm going to pick up 2 4-packs in my liquor store, or whatever the case may be. So I think discretionary spending is becoming a problem now in the U.S. because inflation is up. Your paycheck is sort of stayed here, and it's not risen with the rate of inflation. So people are sort of cherry picking now. Do I want to go?
Yeah, when a gallon of spring water costs $3, you tend to buy less beer.
Yeah. Right, but it's also the person that says
you don't buy less.
Do I go
beer.
to a liquor store and try something? No. But like you were saying before, Dave, how you go to a liquor store and you want to try something, and you am I willing to spend $18 on a 4-pack that I may or may not like? And that may have been 2 years ago, and you go, all right, you know what, I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Now, because people are the dollar is the inflation is up and your paycheck is down here. Now you're thinking twice about what, I don't know if I want to get that. I think I'm going to go with what I like.
Yes,
as opposed to
I love this brewery. This is new from them. I'm going to buy them.
Right. So I think that's part of the problem. And then when you look at it from a local level, like a brewery like Lunacy that says we can't do this anymore, we're closing up. They may have seen over the last couple of months.
So you say
coming in,
inflation is keelhauling us all.
Yeah,
I gotta get my pirate speaking every now and then.
And you know what? And that brings up, and Al, that's perfect. And that brings up another point. That brings us back to what the governor is doing, what the state's doing, and everything else. If there's an issue with getting people into the brewery to support the brand, to spend a little bit more money. We're not asking people to go broke buying beer, right? But to support the brand a little bit more, it's events. And if you can only have 25 events a year, you're screwed. If you can have a few a week, then you can actually make ends meet.
All right, so that's part of it. But the other part of it is the price of beer has gone up because ingredients have gone up because it's tougher. You have the war in Ukraine. You have all these different, things that are happening,
and people
which affects everything.
People don't. The one thing I don't think a lot of people understand about the Ukraine is Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe.
Right.
The resources, the grains that come out of the Ukraine, wheat alone.
You could rename Ukraine Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you take the breadbasket of the United States and compare that to Ukraine is probably double that.
Right.
That's why Russia wants it so much, is because of their resources.
Right.
It is really crippled. Bread prices in Europe have skyrocketed.
Stupid. Yeah.
Stupid.
Because the grain, Ukraine supplied all that grain.
Right.
And it's not just wheat. It is barley, and barley to the breweries. So
but also when you have breweries that are brewing beer in a specific recipe that requires those things from that part of the world, and they can't get it and have to substitute it for something else. Now, either what do? Do we lower the price? Do we raise it? Do we keep it the same? It's a
and the beer's different. No matter what you do, the beer is going.
The beer is going to be different.
Right. Yeah. So that's a problem, and I think that along with the discretionary spending from people is going to affect breweries nationwide. It's not just going to be in New Jersey. It's not just going to be in New York. It's going to be across the rest of the country, because you're not going to have people going, hey, you know what? It's a Friday night. Let's go to our local brew pub and have a couple of beers. It's, you know what? Maybe this week we don't spend that money where we would have spent, $10, $20, $30, $40 on a couple of flights and then come home. You're going to take that $40 and keep it in your pocket.
Let's stay home and cook some food at home and watch Netflix that we spend $20 a month on.
And
that's right.
And chill.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was going to a point like, let's watch Netflix that we spent $20 a month on. That 2 years ago we spent $7 a month on.
But that's where you're going with that. Okay.
But all of it becomes this effect, and that has to stop. So while I sympathize with some of the breweries that have said, look, we can't do this anymore. We want to spend more time with our families, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's a business. They've been expanding. I think and I think we talked about this on a previous show, where the pandemic sort of leveled some of the playing field for the breweries that weren't making good beer, that couldn't pivot during the pandemic and decided to close.
I kind of disagree with that.
But remember, before the pandemic, before the pandemic, all these beer experts were talking about a bubble that was ready to burst because it was going up
for years.
Up.
I agree.
It was getting bigger and bigger, but the bubble.
I agree, and I disagree.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
When you talk about the breweries that were making good beer, you're talking about the new in ones, because the ones who have been making subpar beer for a long time, they have their following. They all survived.
Oh, right, of course. So, no, 100%. It's the newer ones that aren't making good stuff. But again, I think
it's the newer ones. Yes,
right, and I think the
newer subpar breweries.
Yes.
Right. I think the experts that were saying that this bubble was going to burst, instead of bursting, I think it sort of trickled out here, trickled out there, and now
it plateaued, and it kind of went like this.
It didn't burst; it bubbled out.
Right. Yeah, and I think we're starting to see that little, the finger, the boy with the finger in the dam. I think we're starting to see those little cracks now.
And that's another point too. Think about this really quick, and I'll throw this in there.
Can I take some time to think about it?
Sure, if you'd like.
Okay.
But my point being, the pandemic really threw another wrench into the works by all of these other breweries that were never, and I'll speak New Jersey specifically, but this applies to pretty much any state. These breweries from other states that were never had any footprint or any beer distributed to.
All of a sudden we had them.
All of a sudden they're in, because they're not having any taproom people. They're not having anybody coming. Their draft business is down because none of these bars are open. So now they have to can and package everything that they brew. So what are we going to do with it? Oh, we can't just sell it in state. We'll have it forever. Let's get distribution deals in other states. Right. Boom. Now all of a sudden there's less shelf space in New Jersey because all these other brands that have had a name in their state and in the industry are now in the state. Hey, let's go buy this beer. Boom. Hey, okay, now we're forgetting about the local people.
Now you're rotating, you're rotating back to the
We're rotating back now in New Jersey anyway. We're rotating.
Because now you're talking about, what do they call that? A correction, right? Where now all these.
It's a correction to a point, because it's not a correction.
It's almost a correction, because we're lamenting these breweries because we like them.
Right.
We love these breweries, and they're going to be out. But now for
like Drecker, Anchorage, 450 North.
Drecker about $3,000 a 4-pack. Yeah.
No, but my point is,
Anchorage is in. Hold on. Anchorage is in New Jersey.
Had come into New Jersey, but again, it's like
Briefly.
one pallet. I think they're gone by now, but when they first came in, it was like one pallet, and then like 3 months later,
Pennsylvania has a ton of it.
Right,
Anchorage.
But my point is, with some of these breweries now, because AB InBev owns them, coming out, it's almost like a balance now, like we talked about before, where the local breweries can now take some of the shelf space.
Absolutely.
That was taken over during COVID.
And more. The shelf space that was taken over, plus more, because there's other brands that were already here that aren't going to be involved for a while.
If I'm a local brewery owner, I map out the 10 places in my footprint that's around me that are places that don't have my beer, and I tell my sales guy, or if it's myself who's the sales guy, I attack every single one of those aggressively.
Yeah.
And I bring in my best stuff, and I tell them, hey, you got XYZ beer that's this. Well, you know what? I can make a beer just like that, or I'm making a beer just like that, and this is what it is, and you should have this on your tap because you're not going to get that other one, anytime soon. Right. That's how I would I would be so aggressive on that and not take no for an answer. That's how you beat it. Absolutely. And then that helps you in your bottom line. That helps you moving forward with whatever the rules are going to be, whatever they shake out to be by the end of the year, and can help you. And I'll leave it at this. One brewery that actually did really great during the pandemic and opened during the pandemic in New Jersey, where they had no way of knowing if their beer was going to be good or not, was Ashton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect example. Steve had no idea if his beer was going to be any good. The community supported him. He got his beer out there. People love him.
Which John, put up Campaneel's comment here because that supports that.
Yes, it absolutely does.
Even though what we're talking about,
the pandemic caused hyper-localism. There are breweries that are alive that are terrible and still alive.
Now, I'm not saying that Ashton's terrible. They're not.
No,
Steve's not terrible at all. No,
it's great beer. But what I'm saying here is you got the hyper, but there was also all the breweries that came in. So Campaneel's right to one aspect where you did get that hyper localism because the breweries could deliver.
Right.
They could deliver. That was huge. Or you could just drive there and pick up. Like I lived in Rhode Island during this, and so many places I went to and just picked up. I couldn't go into the brewery, but I could pick up. Mm-hmm. But there's the other side of that we talked about where breweries out of state came in and created a footprint. All of a sudden, Alchemist, who nobody could get. The big thing about Heady Topper was that you couldn't get it.
Right.
This is going to cause a lot of controversy. I'm not a huge fan of Heady Topper. I'm not. I'm really not.
I like Focal Banger better than Heady Topper. I like the Crusher better than Focal Banger.
Yes. I'm not a huge fan of Heady Topper, but it was one of those beers that you had to have. As a beer nerd, you had to have Heady Topper. I was at Hunapu, and I had this can because Alchemist was there, and I managed to grab a can of it. And I'm putting it in my cooler, and one time, Augie Carton sees it. Goes, I just saw a can that's silver and black. I'm like, yes, my brother's never had this beer. He goes, your brother needs to have that beer. And it's something my brother had looked for the longest time. Is it the greatest IPA created on the East Coast? Many would argue yes. I would argue no, it's not.
What's the greatest IPA created on the East Coast? Silence. I've stumped him.
No,
I know what he wanted to. I know what he wants to say.
I know what he wants to say.
But it's not an IPA.
But it's not an IPA.
No,
it begins with the letter B.
Right. And
no,
ends with the letter oat.
If you're going to go straight up IPA, or a double IPA, I think Kane makes it. But
on that note, quick story: the very first carton tap takeover at the Cloverleaf. Very first carton tap takeover at the Cloverleaf back in 2012, early 2012. We're all standing there in a circle in the front bar, and it's me, Augie, Doug, Jeremy, a few other people.
I may have been there.
And yeah, I think you were there. And Augie pulled out a can. While it's carton technical, Augie pulls out a can out of his pocket. He pulls out a can of Hetty Topper, and he opens it up, takes a sip, and passes it around the world.
But
I thought that was funny and quite poignant.
No,
but
it's a cool story.
But it's one of those things.
Hold on. I just said his name twice, and I almost said his name that I said twice. That would have been 3 times. So that
yeah, you can't say it thrice.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? Dave Campanelle said focal banger for the win. Mark McAteer said Fuego. Yes, Tonewood makes great beer, and Fuego's a great IPA. I do have to agree with you. But
to me, Overhead's my favorite IPA out of this.
Well, we're talking now, and then Matt said, what you call it? Overhead, all other half, all Citra, everything. That's his favorite. So.
I got over half.
Overhead.
Over
other half.
That's a hard thing to say.
Over other half.
About 3 years ago.
There you go. No, you know what? Now, are we talking New Jersey? Obviously, the other half we're not. But like Fuego, and you're talking about Kane. Are we talking New Jersey, or are we talking East Coast? Because there's a lot of other.
I was talking East Coast, and I still put Overhead as maybe my favorite IPA off the East Coast.
All right. Well, Matt, we got to work on that.
But you guys got to work on that. Then you get to Bissell Brothers.
Sure.
The Bissell Brothers fans will probably fight me over that.
The Substance is a great beer.
It is a great beer. Yes. They'll fight me over.
Reciprocal's a great beer.
Yeah, Bissell Brothers fans will fight me over that, but Overhead's it's a great beer.
Does Other Half? I got a question for you. Does Other Half make IPAs? That was a joke. I
think that's about 90% of their catalog.
That's all they make. They make 98% IPAs and then a couple others.
Right.
It's just like
other half I didn't put in. I'm talking about Overhead.
No, I know what you're saying.
Oh.
I know what you're saying. You got it. All right. So to wrap up this news, there's a lot going on. Just it's all the same story, right? We've talked about it. We talked about it last week with Don on the show. We talked about it multiple weeks with the whole anchor stuff. Pay attention to local, support local, big time support local.
However,
but don't forget the people who brought you here, who got you here.
Right. All those OGs across this country that have brought us great beer. Right now would be a damn good time to support founders so that they can buy
Trogs
or Allagash, so they can buy themselves out of this mess in this state that was just created by one of the biggest players this state has ever seen folding.
Right.
And
craft beer wise, I don't think we're ever going to see a brand,
a distributor,
a distributor as big as Hunterdon was in the state.
It'll
never happen. There'll be too many. But it's boutique local craft distributors, so forth.
The only way we can see this happening is if the employees, and there's many, many, many very talented, very intelligent employees that Hunterdon has had through the years, decide to open their own distribution.
It would take a lot of money.
It would take a lot of money.
It would take a lot of money.
And you're right. It's I know, because we have the same hope with Anchor, but there's money out there that will save Anchor.
There's money, but there's money out there that can save Anchor. I don't think that there's money out there that can save
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Or boost.
But here's the thing with Anchor.
As big as Hunterdon was.
But I think there's a big difference here. Here's the thing with Anchor. All these people lamenting of the loss of a beer that they haven't really supported in how long outside of San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah. Like, could they save the brewery itself? Yes. Could it be a national player again?
Never going to be what it was. It's never going to be what it was.
And if you can save it in the city of San Francisco, that's fantastic. On this scope, though, you need to have somebody to come in that's got a lot of free cash to sort of buy out a lot of these things.
And I'm sorry I brought it up that way.
It's a big difference.
This is not apples to apples. This is apples. Right. This is apples to acai. Right? It's very, very different.
It's apples to hot dogs, is what it is.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I want a hot dog now.
All right. On that note, well, you know what? That brings us back to Oktoberfest because that's what we're here for.
What was the last beer you poured, John?
The last beer I poured was was this one. More on what this means to me. This beer, it would be Eyinger Oktoberfest.
Anger? You're angry?
Eyinger.
Okay.
Eyinger from Eying, Germany. Okay. Eyinger. So, and what's your fourth beer, fifth beer?
I'm drinking something from Erding, Germany.
Erding, Germany, right?
And this is Erdinger's Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Damn good Oktoberfest.
Yeah, and it's a Hefeweizen, right? It's a Hef.
What is their Oktoberfest? Because
it's a Hef.
It's different than the others.
It's different. It's not a Fest beer. It's an American. It's a Hef.
It's not American.
It's a Hef.
Ausbarn.
It's a Hef.
Gesundheit.
Bless you. I'm sorry. I was more spot on. Gesundheit. Yeah.
Anyway, bless you is the same damn thing.
All right, I got a couple questions, and then we got to get our top threes in.
We got questions, and I have no idea what our top three is. Oh no! Yes, I do.
What really? I mean, how many beers?
What show is this?
Exactly.
Right.
Am I on 8?
You're on beer 7, right? I know.
Oh, 7.
Okay, so I just want to ask you, what other fall styles do you like other than And I mean,
I've got another.
What are your favorite fall styles other than Märzen's or Fest beers, Oktoberfest styles? And I mean, have at it. What other fall styles?
There's only one, and it's one of your favorite styles, John, and that's a brown. And I will always, and you know this, John, lament the loss of Founders Tumbler.
That was a good beer.
Tumbler to me was the consummate fall beer.
That's Sierra Nevada, by the way, not Founders.
I'm sorry, you're right, Sierra Nevada.
But I knew what you meant.
It's the consummate fall. I've got the shirt. It's in that closet up there. This was the consummate fall beer to me. This beer to me tasted like jumping into a pile of leaves.
That's a good way to describe it.
When a beer can taste like an action, they've done something right.
It was Sierra did amazing things with this beer, and then they stopped.
When a beer becomes a verb,
right?
And I just, why did they stop making this beer? Why did they stop making this beer?
Probably because it wasn't selling.
It wasn't. Yeah, me and you were the only ones buying it.
Yeah, probably. Oh God, this is a beautiful beer. So so for fall, a brown for me, because you said it earlier, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
The Märzens, the Fest beers, these are the ones that herald the beginning of fall. Are they fall beers? No, they're late summer beers that really herald the beginning of fall. They're the transition to take us from the summer beers, the lighter summer beers.
Al said it, actually. I did.
Oh, that's right. Al did. And start introducing more malt to it, get us a little darker. And then when fall hits, to me, it's the brown beer, the brown ales. That's to me, that's a fall beer to me.
Yeah.
Al, yours?
To me, it's an Abbey. An Abbey is, it's one of those things where, the fruit and there's that booziness to it. And it's sort of, that's the beer that you sort of open up the bottle and you pour it and you just drink it slowly. It's not one that you're going to bang back. You kind of open it and let it go and
you can enjoy it. Yeah.
Enjoy the evening with it, because that's supposed to be a beer that's supposed to keep you full. And, there's the bountiful harvest and all that other stuff that you can, associate with fall. That to me, an Abbey is probably the one that I think people forget about as being a fall beer.
I like that. I'll actually meld the both of yours with mine. All right, brown ale. How I feel.
Before you get there,
please, more.
What I will say is that transition to the sippers.
Right. Well, that's where I'm going with this.
Right? The sippers of winter.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. Right. So brown ale is definitely for me. You know how I feel about brown ale.
Oh
it's one of my favorite. Okay, but German styles into Belgian styles, and that's what fall is for me. Right. It starts with the Oktoberfest, and it goes into Dunkels, Doppelbocks, alt beers. Then it'll get, for me, from that point, Germany, starting with German first, right? And then for me, it'll get into old ales and brown ales. So goes into English, right? And then it starts to get a little colder, and that's when the Abbeys take over for me. And boom, now I'm into winter beers, winter warmers, Abbeys, Christmas ales, everything else. But Matt just said it best. First, I want to put up his comment here. He likes Sting because he named himself a verb.
Do you know why he called himself Sting?
I don't remember the story.
He was a huge football, soccer in this country fan, and he played football in England. But the jersey he wore was yellow and black, so he looked like a bee. So his nickname was Sting. So I would have loved the fact that he named himself after the sword that Bilbo Baggins found and named in The Hobbit, but no, it's because of the jersey that he wore when he played soccer.
Gotcha. Interesting. And Matt also said for fall, and I love this style, but it doesn't scream.
It doesn't scream fall to me. You're right.
Fall for me. I love this style, but it's not. It's fall. But it's not fall for me.
It doesn't scream fall to me, no.
And it's wet hopped IPA.
Because just like you, John, to me, fall is a transition into the darker beers.
Right. And what's funny is though, once we get into the Christmas ales, once we get into the winter beers and the holiday beers, I'm going right back to a wet hop IPA.
See?
True. So you're a hypocrite.
I'm a hypocrite. So there you go. All right, let's do our top threes. Top threes tonight is top 3 favorite Oktoberfest, and this is version 2. We did all this. We didn't do an Oktoberfest show last year, but we didn't do an Oktoberfest show in 2021. But we did an Oktoberfest list with Jay Bullen from Brewery Sylvaticus up in Amesbury, Massachusetts.
God, I need to get back there.
Yep. So,
and anybody who's not been to Brewery Sylvaticus, these people are brewing it. Cool.
Yeah, they're doing some good liquor.
They're brewing German styles better than almost anybody in this damn country.
So, which is why we did this list with Jay.
And they're up near the New Hampshire border and Massachusetts.
Yeah, they're about 35, 40, 45 minutes north of Boston with no traffic.
Depending on traffic.
So an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Right. But
or
in any event,
3.
Or 3, yeah. So anyway, top 3 favorite Oktoberfest beers. Al, start us out.
All right. My first is Warsteiner. Their Marzen. I thought it was an excellent beer. That's one I had got way back in 2015, and it was at almost 6%. My second one is Get Your Ass to Marzen from Icarus, a fantastic
you mean this one right here?
That's it. That's the one. Fantastic beer.
I'm gonna
my third one is Farm Fest Marzen from Source. I think that's one they come out.
I've never had that. I really need that.
It's very good.
Beer. I think they released it 2 weeks ago. It is a great
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. They may still have it because I'm sure they probably haven't sold it out. But that is an excellent beer. My honorable mention. I just had this past January. Magnanimous Brewing down in Bradenton. Marznanimous. That was really good. Surprisingly good. Yeah, great brewery. If you want to check out a really cool brewery in Bradenton, not the one they have, I think they have their main post is in Orlando. But if you go down to Bradenton, they're right across the street from where the Pittsburgh Pirates play. Their minor league affiliate.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Catch a game, grab a couple beers.
In the Orange League.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep. All right, Dave, yours.
This is hard because some of the stuff I drank today really kind of impacts that, and I know we did this 2 years ago.
I have your list from 2 years ago right here. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you afterwards. I'm going to tell you what it is.
2 years ago, John and I both did the same thing where we did a Jersey, a U.S. National, and we did a German.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what my German was. I don't know that Erdinger has toppled it, depending on what it was. But I know that my U.S. National may have been toppled by Toppling Goliath. Why I've been using the word toppled because this is a damn
because you're Tipley
beer.
Yeah.
Toppling.
Toppling Goliath.
Tippled. It might be a little tippled, Al. You might be right there, but
I'm pretty sure you are.
Local.
Mm-hmm.
You got the can sitting next to you. Don't be bashful.
Don't be bashful.
But I haven't drank it. I haven't drank it yet. So
he's gonna have 8 beers.
Let me crack this and see if this actually.
Pressure. I've only had 4, so I can't. And Al's had 1.
I've had 1.
So let me crack this one and see if this is up there. I know that Festi from Carton, I've loved in the past. Mm-hmm. Oh, just the smell of this one.
All right, so that's your number 1. That's your local right there. Well, this is
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is
one of the. Oh my God.
This is
this is
the first time that a top 3 list has ever actually been decided on the show live. So there you go.
During the top 3
in 3.5 years. So there you go.
this morning, holy crap.
Okay.
Jason, holy crap, you can brew a fucking Martin. Damn, this is
Jason brewing lagers? Yeah. No, that never happens.
Yeah, no. Jason.
Right, you haven't been to Lagerfest, have you?
Oh, yes, I have.
He was at Lagerfest this year with us.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe then I had a few too many.
Oh, I know. Yikes. I had a. Hey, John.
You and I were sitting at the table, and he walked up to us when he got there.
Yes,
we were there
well
before.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
The hug may have been a little too long because you did it for a while.
Well, it happens. I'm a loving, hugging guy.
And Johnny can tell you I probably had a little too much at that event.
How can you not? That's the thing.
It's hard.
Like, this is only 4%.
Yeah.
No, but you're like, this is only 4%, 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know.
Okay, how am I? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so my local was going to be the Ghost Hawk, but
all right, that can be your honorable mention now.
My Ghost Hawk will be the honorable mention.
What's your German or your international? Which I'm assuming is German. I'm sure you're not having a Japanese Martin. So.
I've never had Japanese Martin.
I was kidding. It was a joke.
What was it 2 years ago, Johnny?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Because I will tell you. I just put your honorable mention down as Ghost Hawk Geisterfalke. 2 years ago, you actually didn't do a local. You did a German Fest beer, a German Marzen, and a national.
What was my German Fest beer?
Your German Fest beer was Weihenstephaner. Your German Marzen was Schneiderweiss.
Okay. Schneiderweiss for the German.
There you go. All right. Fair enough. All right. I will give you mine now. I'll give you a couple of honorable mentions.
And usually when we get to the top 3s, this is usually when I have to pee.
So go pee.
I'll be right back.
Because Dave, Al, for the last...
mute me.
Yeah. For the last... Yeah, that's true. For the last... honestly, for the last 3 months, Dave has not heard my list in top 3s because he's always in the bathroom while I'm doing it.
Wow, I see.
That's pretty good.
See. All right.
Anyway, I'll give you mine really quick. My honorable mentions, Sam Adams.
Classic.
Not.
Right.
Sierra Nevada. I can never put Sierra Nevada on this list because it's different every year. They brew a collab with a different German brewery every year.
Right.
So
didn't they? One year they did it with Weihenstephaner and they did it with somebody else. Yeah. Right.
So they brew a different one every year. So it can never be on my list.
Sure.
But it's definitely getting an honorable mention because they're fantastic every year. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm also going to throw Left Hand. Left Hand Oktoberfest is actually very good.
That's a very underrated Oktoberfest.
Very underrated Oktoberfest beer.
Yep.
But my 3, I'm going to give you my local New Jersey, my national, my Germany.
Okay. My
local New Jersey, for me, yes, Icarus, get your ass to Martin is amazing. Even Oktoberfest from Bolero is a damn good beer.
Oh, very good. Right?
It's very good beer.
Yep.
But Ramstein Oktoberfest, Greg brews.
Oh, that's
the quintessential for me in New Jersey. The quintessential Oktoberfest,
100%
every year.
100%,
absolutely. My national has changed actually this year. For the last couple of years, I started drinking a little bit more of it. My national one, Dave, you missed my local New Jersey. Ramstein is my local.
That's a good call right there.
Yeah. But my national, Jack's Abbey Copper Legend.
That's a
another
damn good beer.
That's a great beer.
Yes.
And if I
beer.
had one, I would have drank it out of my ceramic stein over there. Well, it's not a stein. It's just.
I know. And then my number one German style Oktoberfest. I'm drinking it right now. Eyinger.
There you go.
Eyinger Oktoberfest March.
I don't think I've ever had beer.
You've never had Eyinger?
I've had Eyinger, but not
Eyinger Oktoberfest. Yeah, have it. Absolutely. So cool. All right. Well, that's my list
stuff.
too. All right. I'm going to throw Matt's comments on here, and then we'll wrap up the show. Matt said, "Wet hood are only harvested at the end of summer, beginning of fall, and I drink stouts all year."
You can fix that by just having a bris. Saying.
Then he put wet hops.
Oh, that's what he. Okay, never mind.
Yikes.
I was hoping he didn't mean wet hood. I'm just leaving it at that. So, anyway, but
talk to your doctor.
Exactly.
Local anesthesia will help.
Will help. It'll definitely help. Exactly.
That's right.
All right. I actually have to turn that comment off because I went back out of it. Let me get down here. All right.
Okay.
Look, we covered a lot of ground today. We had a great Oktoberfest show. We covered a lot of news. We have a lot of good discussion. Al, I'm definitely tuning in. Everybody that's listening to this, if it's before Sunday, 11 o'clock, right?
Yes, 11 o'clock Sunday night. 11 o'clock Sunday night, and then the podcast is up a couple of minutes after. Yeah. AM 970 The Answer.com. You can listen to it anywhere.
Absolutely. And if you're hearing this on any of our platforms after Sunday night at 11 o'clock, just go to the Craft Beer Cast.
And we seriously need a resolution to this bullshit.
Yeah. No,
we do, but I don't think we're gonna get it until after the election.
It's not coming till at least. And it's gonna be after that.
Well, hold on. I should say this: if the Senate or the Assembly come back, which there's been talk that they may, if they come back, the clock starts at 45 days. Mm-hmm. Then he has to conditionally veto it. Then they have to go back and change it. So if they come back early, the clock starts. It doesn't stop. Like if once they come back in session, the 45-day clock starts. You can bet he's going to conditionally veto it. The question is, will they have enough votes to change what they need to change in the bill to get it passed before the end of the year?
That depends upon the election, right?
Well, that too.
And here's the other thing we need to understand. In this election, is Durfee up for re-election?
No.
Right. So he's still going to be.
It's 2 years. He's still got another. He's got another.
He's a lame duck. Right.
He's a lame duck, but he's in for another 2 years. So,
but you also have to remember there are a number of people in the Assembly and Senate that are not running for re-election this year. Mm-hmm. Who knows the new people coming in if their votes are going to be now? It may be minuscule. Right. You're not going to get unanimous again. And there are some people that are against it, but you still may unanimous.
You still may get unanimous because many of the representatives we have out there, when they look at their constituents and they look at the money, the tax base that's coming out of their counties, they've got to look at that and go, "We need this.
Yep,
we absolutely 100%. Need this." So I would not be surprised. I would be surprised if it came back unanimous. I really would, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come back unanimous with only one dissenter.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But this needs to be addressed. It's going to be addressed. But like you said originally, and John just alluded to, it's not going to be at the top of the docket.
It's not.
Nope.
Al said it.
It's not. It's not.
No, I said Al said it, and you alluded to it.
Right.
It's not going to be at the top of the docket. So, what are we looking? Maybe March?
No. They have to get this done.
Oh, you said 45 days.
They have to get. They have 6 weeks afterwards to get this
after
done.
They
have until the end of the year. If we hit January 1st, it's done.
Right.
It's done. They have to restart the whole process all over again, and that's not going to be a good thing. So, but boys, I got to leave it at that because I have to go and. Because if I don't,
what I just did,
yes,
exactly. do you? You know what? I'll mute you. I'm going to do the exit. I'm going to tell you something. Go.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do, and I'll do the intro.
And the exit has changed yet again.
It has. So stay. So I'll just mute you.
I'll be right
Go
back.
for it. You got it.
Go.
All right, folks. On that note, we will wrap up this great show for today.
Was it a C sharp?
D flat.
Same diff.
There you go. All right. See, I knew I loved you. All right. All right. On that note, we'll wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember,
That's a good comparison.
It is. Like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, which is now X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around
X makes
6:30.
no fucking.
It's stupid.
Okay,
right?
so
whatever.
SpaceX,
That's where he went with that, right? Exactly. Around on Tuesday, every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. For those Eastern time, and for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our brand new app audio podcast host, Spreaker, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and some brand new platforms: Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podchaser. Pretty much anywhere you can.
Deezer's a great name for
It
a
is.
bulldog.
And pretty much anywhere you can get an audio podcast, you can find our podcast. So just Google it, and you'll find it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Oktoberfest, folks. Enjoy.
I've still got 2 beers to drink.
Dave will not be on the show next week. He'll be on his way to San Francisco.
I will be on the plane.
Mr. Potensky will be co-hosting with me, and we will have an interesting show about an event that's coming up that Saturday, next Saturday.
However, the Thursday following is International Lager Room Guys.
It's International Lager Room Guys Day, so pay attention to that. I'll bring that up next week as well.
We may need to do something live. I may be sitting in a brewery in San Francisco, going live on that, and hopefully we get Johnny in on it.
We will post what we're going to do for International Lager Room Guys Day, so enjoy. But on that note, drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly, and we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Prost.
Yes.
Yes.
Take care.
Yes. You scallywags.
Prost, you scallywags. Arr.
They found face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rub. Who did he see when he heard he was there? Now it seems that he shit out of luck. This little penny went to Margaret.